When it's cold, you start running the ball a little more. I don't care if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care if you're the Los Angeles Rams. I don't care if you're the Green Bay Packers. If you have over 50 passing attempts per game, you're not going to win. And it's as simple as that. Last night, Ben Roethlisberger, 33 for 53. Now, I get it. He had 2 touchdowns, QB rating of 87.3. Not too shabby. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you have one of the best wide receiver trios in the league. You're not going to win the ball game passing that much. Simple. Unless you have Patrick Mahomes, unless you have a wide receiver who has a tendency to chalk up some deuces when he scores a touchdown. Unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, don't let me see you pass for 50 times a game because you're not going to win.
Well, it feels like Russell Wilson in Seattle can do it too. But, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, they've just been okay on offense. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they've got a lot of stars on offense, but they've just been okay on offense. Connor's been in and out, all year. I think they have too many running backs. I don't think they know what to do sometimes, with obviously McLeod had to play a little bit more, but Snell, he had that big game, and then Connor hasn't been healthy. Like, I don't know what they want to do sometimes offensive, but listen, they're still very good. I think I said yesterday on the show, don't be surprised. Like, I wasn't shocked by that.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington's played tough. You know what I mean? Look at Denver almost went into Kansas City, beat Kansas City. Giants go into Seattle, Jags almost beat Minnesota. Mm-hmm. The Jets almost beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what happens in the NFL. So, and by the way, another for you SEC flag wavers out there, like Tennessee had no chance to beat Florida. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how hard the SEC has been in 2020, all SEC games. They had no chance. Kyle Trask could have thrown 2 picks, and they still would have won that game. But that's what's different between the NFL and college football.
So you think that if Russell Wilson throws it 50 times a game, they're going to win?
I think they were doing that already at times this year.
He had the highest game was 41 attempts. I'm sorry, no, his highest game was 50 attempts. So here's the thing, check this out. Highest game, 50 attempts. Second highest game, 41 attempts. And then the third highest game is actually second highest game was 43 attempts. Third highest game was 41 attempts. Care to guess if they won or lost those games?
They lost all of them?
Lost all those games.
Wow. How about Mahomes then? Look up Mahomes when you get a chance.
Okay.
And that might take until 5:15, so we'll be patient with you. But we'll see. I get your point. I'm not like.
So Mahomes hasn't passed over 50 times yet. He's passed 49 times, won that game. 45 times, won that game. 42 times, won that game. 47 times, won that game. Man, it's almost like I said, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you can get away with this. And it's almost like I said, if you're any other team in the NFL, you can't get away with this.
I know. No, I don't know when to trust you anymore because you told me Baker Mayfield was better than Ben Roethlisberger this year, too. So,
well, let's go ahead and wait till the end of the season to crown that one, but I'm feeling pretty confident now.
What game did they lose? Who did they lose to?
Who's
Kansas
that?
City. They lost to the Raiders.
Lost to the Raiders, and in that game, let me pull that up. I mean, you're asking a lot of me right now. It's all right, though.
It's all right.
He had 43 attempts.
All right. Oh, you left that one off the board. Okay.
I mean, what do you want me to tell you? It goes 49, 45, 45, 42, 47, 42.
43 off.
You're asking me to break down like 11 games in the span of a couple seconds. My bad if I missed one.
I can't believe he's thrown it for over 40 times that much because they've tried to run the ball, especially as of late. It feels like they've tried to run the ball a little bit. But, we'll see. I'd tell you, it's more about Ron Rivera, isn't it, in Washington? Mm-hmm. Ron Rivera obviously battling cancer and the story that's become. But, listen, I sat here and told you last year – I'm not interested in getting Ron Rivera. Like, that doesn't do much for me. And now, listen, he's doing a great job. I don't know where he's going to take Washington. My point back then was if you take away like a big year, which you never can take away. I say that about Dave Caldwell and Tom Coughlin and Blake Bortles and the rest. I mean, you can't just take it away. But if you do look at the whole resume, there's a lot of just okay years in there for Ron Rivera at Carolina. Had a couple of real upshoot years too, but just a lot of mediocrity,
I think your argument was that Ron Rivera wins every third season. That was your argument.
That's what it was. Yeah, I think it was. And so but when he doesn't win, it's not like he's knocking on the door to win, So it's kind of like a very 7-9-ish or 6-10-ish and So who knows? Maybe he takes them to places they haven't been. And maybe he seems like he's the perfect guy to fix that organization, which was in shambles. And by the way, there are a couple other organizations that I think owners need to look at and try to find the guy who can fix what's in shambles. This one being one of them, the Detroit Lions being another one of them, and try to echo, which is something we'll talk about today, a little bit of what the Miami Dolphins, who were a mess for decades, and the Buffalo Bills, basically a mess for decades. They found the right guys. And so Ron Rivera, at least, it's kind of like when Dan Mullen went to Florida. What we said initially is, hey, they just got to win games. Like Mike Norvell at Florida State, you got to come in first of all. You got to win games. Like you can't have 2-win seasons in college football. You can't have 4-win seasons. Around here, there's too many of these double-digit loss seasons. So there's steps here. One, you got to find the guy that's going to fix that and change that and start knocking on the door, winning and winning more consistently. But then, can he take you to the promised land? Is the eventual question. And that was my concern more with a guy like Rivera. I just don't know if he's that guy for me, but he's certainly done a heck of a job. And that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. I mean, maybe the Jags should have made a move last year and should have got in the Ron Rivera sweepstakes.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Ron Rivera supporter.
You were,
and I wanted the Jaguars to get him because I felt like at that point, when we're having that discussion, it's all about laying the foundation. Like, we're way past the point of, well, are we playoff hopeful? Are we just a few pieces away? Are we a few, outside the box thinking decisions away from going to the playoffs? And at that time when we discussed it, I felt like, the Jaguars weren't. So to me, Ron Rivera would have been the ultimate signing because that's the guy that you bring in to clean everything up. That's the guy that you bring in to build the base and grow from there. Now, I think in his later years, and one thing that you can maybe say about Ron Rivera is the fact that he is super old school and that he doesn't really necessarily, adapt to what's going on around him. But then we see in Carolina his last year, or I think his previous 2 years, he goes to a 3-4 defense. Now, they didn't have success, and it was kind of a failure because they didn't have the personnel, but that was an example of a guy who's always done things a certain way, who's always played kind of things in a certain way, talking about those 85 Bears, and he's had that philosophy, but he had the ability to adapt. So that was intriguing to me his last couple years in Carolina. Now, once again, he had Cam Newton, didn't have success, but I think the job that he's been able to do with Washington on a roster, let's be honest, that we don't really know about, says a lot about the culture building power, if you will, of Ron Rivera. Yeah,
I think, listen, he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, they're still battling. I mean, he made a tough decision, too. He didn't stick with Dwayne Haskins. He said, hey, we're getting out of this right now. Like, we're not playing to this coaching staff and this front office and everybody else. Here, we got to play Taven Bryan. We got to play Taven Bryan. We got to play Taven Bryan until it's like 10 games into the season or 8 games into the season. And then they're like, well, no, we don't. Or got to play Chris Conley. Got to be Chris Conley. No, we could play Colin Johnson, So he made the move early to go away from Dwayne Haskins. And first went with Kyle Allen, and now Alex Smith's doing a nice job. And obviously there's so many feel-good stories about Washington. You talk about a 180. I mean, somebody in D.C., do the year of 2020 for the Washington football team.
Yeah.
From sexual harassment and front page articles about the organization and Daniel Snyder to this feel-good story of they're fighting their butt off. They're winning some games. They're in the middle of the NFC East. Alex Smith and Ron Rivera. I mean, what a turn in the fall for the Washington football team. And maybe that's the turn they needed because they were just in the doldrums for a long time.
Now, let's be honest. They're playing in the NFC East. And, yes, the Giants get a little more street cred for beating the Seahawks. And, obviously, Washington gets the street cred now for beating the Steelers. So they are making a move, but they're still 5-7 apiece, right? So let's go ahead and, pump the brakes in terms of, well, these guys have turned everything around. They still have losing records. Now, they have done a good job so far. Don't get me wrong. But they still have losing records. What I enjoy about watching the Washington football team, and keep in mind I haven't watched a lot of it, but I watched that Steelers game towards the second half here when we left work.
At least you could.
At least I could, right? Well, there's always ways, Bren. I could have sent you that link if you needed it. But what I enjoy watching about Washington is the identity. I mean, they have Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera written all over that team. Right, in terms of, trying to pound the rock when you can, using the tight end, obviously playing great defense, blitzing, all that stuff like that had their MO. That game right there had their MO written all over it. And that's what you want out of a first-year coach and a first-year regime where it's like, hey, we may not be having a winning record right now, but you see who we are. You see what we bring to the table. You don't want to get lost in the doldrums, like you put it, where it's like you have a new regime come in and it's like, who the heck are these guys? Like, what is the goal here? Washington has made their goal clear, I feel like, since day one.
I wasn't sure Washington would win 2 football games, quite honestly. And are they that much better than the Jags, talent-wise? And I understand they're playing in the East, but they just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell me what you want about the East, but the East just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks in the same weekend. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Cowboys have a chance tonight to beat the Ravens. So whatever it's worth, Ron Rivera in Washington has played 3 quarterbacks this year.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's that much of a talent difference between Washington and the Jags. Now, defensively, they've got some studs up front.
And that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it's at. I mean, honestly, if you want to break down the skill positions, I might take the Jaguars over the Washington football team. I might. I mean, listen, I get Terry McLaurin's a beast. Antonio Gibson's pretty solid as well. Logan Thomas really coming on now. But I'm not like that ready to say that the Washington team's not better than the Jaguars skill position team. Now, obviously, the quarterback, you take Alex Smith all day over what the Jaguars have right now. And the offensive line, I think, is comparable, but the difference is the defense. You know, the difference especially is one in the trenches. And that Washington defensive line, I'll keep in mind, they struggled a little bit last night in terms of getting to Ben Roethlisberger. But who isn't, you know?
He hasn't taken a sack in forever, which
is
surprising.
It's insane, especially for a team that doesn't run the ball.
Well, especially for a guy who runs the ball. With the ball the way he does.
And they don't run it. But you know what? They did just enough to win the game. They bent, but they didn't break, if you will. And that's the Jack Del Rio motto. Simple as that.
Yeah. So let's answer the question. Do you still believe the Jags should have made a move and Ron Rivera, they would be better off if Ron Rivera was here right now?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been adamant about that, and my thoughts haven't changed. I get it. Washington's 4-7 right now, but I don't care. Like, listen, they lost their starting quarterback, lost the backup quarterback, and now we're on their third-string quarterback. Now that third-string quarterback is Alex Smith. He's not like most of the third-string quarterbacks out there. I think in terms of third-string quarterbacks, Alex Smith's probably the best one.
Yeah, right? True. But, I mean, third-string quarterback who hadn't played in years and has, like, no ankle.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, or foot or whatever, you know?
But I think that with what Rivera's been able to do to have the focus back on football, like that's what we're talking about right now with Washington.
Yeah.
We're not talking about their team name. We're not talking about what happened with their owner and all that stuff. Right now, the focus is on football because they are in first place in the division. And I would have loved to see that happen in Jacksonville. I would have loved to see a team that had so many bad optics, that was the laughingstock literally of the NFL media. I would have loved to see a guy like Ron Rivera come in here, clean things up, have his own brand of football, and push things into a new era, if you will.
Yeah, but the Antonio Gibson story, he really didn't do that much yesterday, but I mean,
he was hurt.
Gibson is just like James Robinson, and so they both got something unexpected from the running back position. It's interesting. How about this part of it? So if Ron Rivera, let's just say they made a move last year. Ron Rivera comes in here as the coach. Again, I wouldn't have been like cheerleading that, but I could see why somebody would do it, you know? I just don't know if I get super excited about it. But anyway, would Jack Del Rio have been the defensive coordinator?
Ah, man, that's a great question.
Would he come back to Jacksonville?
That's a great question. I mean, he has roots here, you know? Now, obviously, you're taking, like a job decrease from going from the head coach to the defensive coordinator. But I bet Ron Rivera could have coaxed Jack Del Rio to come here.
Think so?
I mean, why not? Jack Del Rio's got roots here. Why wouldn't he come back as a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, he's got roots here. He's got scars here, too.
Well,
I guess the thing that would lead me to say maybe he would is different ownership.
True.
So maybe that would do it. But, I don't know. I think everybody's got an ego, man. That's a tough thing.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's got an ego, but he also has an ego to say, you know what? They kind of canned me. And I want to come back and show they were wrong. Like, I want to come back and say, hey, look at how much success we're having right now because of my defense. Like, to me, that's kind of like the ultimate, in your face. It's like the ultimate humble brag where if you do have success right away in Jacksonville, like that fuels the ego more than anything.
Yeah. You know why? It leads me to a little bit in a roundabout way. Like, do you think Robert Saleh will have any reservations at all about coming back to Jacksonville? He was here with Gus Bradley in a totally different role, so this would be more of a promotional role. But he's going to be a hot commodity. So my point being, like, Detroit is going to want him. Okay, the politicians already want him in Detroit.
Yeah.
The say the Jags do want him. Let's just take those two. Let's take those two. This is a better gig.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hometown gig. So I understand you wrestle with that. But do you think any reservation on Salah's part will be like, well, I already was here. It didn't work out. I don't know if I want to go back there.
Not when you're talking about a head coaching gig.
But again, he's got another one. It's not his only one.
No, I understand that. I mean, obviously, it's going to be, I think, what fit he feels like is the best for him. Obviously, that's with any job, regardless of the NFL or not. But I feel like if he truly thinks that, you know what, we have a lot of draft picks coming up. We have a lot of young talent. I like what we have on the edges. I can mold something into that. Then so be it. You know, it's kind of ironic though, and then I think Salah would be a pretty great sign. I wouldn't go above and beyond to celebrate that one. I think there's better candidates out there for what Jacksonville needs, but it's interesting that we're talking about Ron Rivera and Salah right now, right? Because these are two defensive-oriented guys, right? And these are two guys that, well, let's be honest, Robert Saleh is going to be brought in to change a culture.
Yes.
Like, you get that vibe from him.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little surprised you don't like that.
No, exactly. But here's, because you saw it last night. I mean, the guy, did you see him running stairs that they had? Yeah, doing that, like he's running stadium stairs before the game. The guy's a psychopath, and I like that about him.
No,
listen, I'm not hating that. I love it, man. That's what you need to do. I appreciate that.
Don't put that on the resume of checkbox.
Psychopath?
He runs the stairs before the game. Yes, I'm glad he hired him.
But it's so ironic though that we're talking about two defensive and two defensive known guys for the culture build, right? Because when Kingsbury came into Arizona, were they talking about the culture rebuild there? No,
really.
Were they talking about like high-paced offense?
Yep.
You know, it's going to be different outside the box. I think that when Sean McVay got hired in L.A., it was never about changing the culture per se.
No, though I think he is a bit of a culture guy. But.
Maybe, yeah. But I just think that depending what you need, do you have the team in place and you need to hit that next step? Or are you starting from ground zero, day one, and you need a complete rebrand, a complete paradigm shift? If that's the answer, I think you go more defensive guys than you do offensive guys.
Yeah, and I see that. Like, if you tell me culture builder guy that's out there, because I don't know others, if you take away the college game, the Dabbos of the world and all that, because I've seen them do it in college.
Oh, yeah.
But if you tell me what's out there, like, I do think Salah would be very good in that. I think Salah, the defensive coach does come to mind. You know, and then if you go that route, like, I'm not opposed to that route. I'm just saying, if you are doing that route, then you need to bring in somebody dang good on the offensive end. Like, look what Carolina did, right? Matt Rule, they brought in Joe Brady. You know, and I mean, who knows if Brady's going to be great? But I'm just saying, they at least went out and got one of the best guys available on that offensive side.
But be honest, if they bring in a defensive guy as a head coach, are you really that amped up about it? Because that's not sexy, right? And all of a sudden, like, you have some inklings of a Jaguars offense that could be something, and then you want to see that through. Right, like I think the last thing you care about right now, if you're a Jaguars fan, is, well, let's bring a guy in for the defense and for the brand. No, like, this is the NFL. It's about scoring points. It's about the quarterback. And I think especially such a monumental year in terms of what quarterback are you going to draft, like, that's big from the other side.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, I have no problem if they go that route. I also just don't care who they get. I don't care if he wins the press conference. I don't care if he's boring as whatever. I don't care if he never wants to talk to anybody, as long as he wins. I'm to the point where now I don't care what it looks like, sounds like, whatever. Just win. As
long as he wins and as long as that we know him, so we have connections.
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
Oh, I do, Brent. You got to have the behind-the-scenes stuff, man.
Orc 0909, because I can't really make out exactly. I'm going to mess up the Twitter handle. He says, listen, I like Ron Rivera. I think he's an okay football coach, but I'm not crying over not getting him. I actually think Marona's in a similar vein to him, just with poor decision-making with hiring, which could partially be from Coughlin front. But let's not forget that Washington's 5-7 in the worst division in the NFL. This record isn't radically different than what they've done in the past under Gruden. They've had a team I've considered talented that has been devastated by QB woes. He hasn't been coach of the year. Yeah.
Well, they're winning the division. And when's the last time besides 2017 the Jaguars could say that?
What's 2017?
It's not like anything else.
It's not like it was 1980.
I said the last
time. They beat Pittsburgh for the first time since 1991. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
1991 wasn't yesterday.
Hey, I was born that year.
It's Washington, man.
Will Gardner Minshew ever play again for the Jags?
That's a good question.
Gardner's kind of pissed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it next on ESPN 690. I am too.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
I got a little piss and vinegar in me. You ever hear your coach say that?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Can you say that on the air?
Just did.
Do you, man? Do you? I wouldn't say it, but hey, I ain't running the show. I'm just happy to be on board.
And Kuz didn't hit the button.
No, well, Kuz wasn't listening. He's
It's
on the
over
phone.
now.
He's on the phone. Kuz, I'm not going to repeat it.
What button?
No, Brett might have said something questionable. It's all right. We're good. We're good. Too late now. Past 8 seconds.
Now
All right.
he's going to worry about it the rest of the show. It was not questionable. My gosh.
Say it again then.
Piss and vinegar.
He said it. Can you say that?
I don't know.
Would you say that?
Would I say that?
On the
No.
air. Yep. See? Me neither. Me neither. Yep. You wearing Skechers today?
Suspended.
Yeah, see? You wearing Skechers? Feeling extra froggy. That's what it is, man.
Well, I might not be as mad as Gardner Minshew.
Irate, I think, would be the proper term for him.
I actually probably am as mad as Gardner Minshew.
I don't think you, I mean, you can get into the story while you're mad if you want.
I mean, Kuz just listened while you went out. I mean, Kuz can attest that I was probably.
No, I hear you.
You're not in a good mood today.
Yeah, and that's fine, and we'll be okay. But, like, I think with Gardner Minshew, he's losing his livelihood, right? Like, this guy lives for football. Now, if you want to get into why you're mad, we can get into it. But to be fair, I don't think it's as important or it's as much as your now, it is your livelihood, but it's not to the point, like, where you're losing out on your livelihood. Your livelihood just got changed a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, he's not losing out on his livelihood. He's still getting a check.
You think he cares about it? Yeah, I understand that. But I'm just saying.
Well, your check is your livelihood.
Well, I think playing football is also his livelihood. I think, like, being the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars and leading a team, I think that means a lot to him.
Yeah. I don't discount that.
Yeah.
Listen, hashtag free Minshew right here.
Sure, you're on board.
Not really happy at some of whatever event Minshew's doing.
Dude,
and PR people.
See, do you want to get on it? Let's go. Let's rant. Let's freestyle right now. Put it out in the airwaves. Let them know.
Get the freshman PR team running an event for Minshew tonight. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, you know what you're doing right now?
What?
You're doing Yannick Ngakoue cryptic tweeting is what you're doing right now.
Burning bridges.
Except all you're doing is putting on the airwaves and no one knows what the heck you're talking about right now.
Nah, I'm not
But
burning
by all
bridges
means,
because
keep
these
going.
guys that did this event, I'll never talk. I already talked to the real people around it. They didn't have anything to do with this.
Okay.
So,
All right.
anyway.
You're good, man.
So anyway, how are you? Gardner Minshew is mad.
Yes. There's a lot of people mad today.
And
Big mad, as the kids say.
the
I like that.
the Minshew stuff, check it out in the Times-Union. They must have got a phone call. John Reed wrote. Check it out with ESPN.com. Mike DeRocco. That's good.
Okay, let's throw it out there. Brent's upset because we couldn't have Minshew on the show because the PR people that are running his whole shindig didn't reach out to us. There's a little bit of an ego involved, as there should be. I don't know what the ratings look like, but I think we're doing pretty good. Had over 2 million views in last month or whatever like that?
That's for a year.
For a year. So we're doing good.
Yeah.
But you're upset because we didn't get any kind of notification saying, can we have Minshew on the show?
Yeah, and they want us to pump up this event. They send us the release after the fact and want us to promote
Which is
an
for a
event
good
that he's doing,
cause.
which is a good cause.
Yes.
But you want me to pump up an event, but you don't reach out when you're offering it to other people.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Get him. No, I'm not.
It's
I'm
not
not disagreeing.
and by the way, I just want to let you know I attacked this the right way. Like I said, hey, what did I miss? I must have missed an email or did something. No, that's not the way it happened. They just kind of handpicked or just hit Google real quick, and the first couple things that came up said, okay, we'll reach out to a couple people.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, yeah, it's got me.
No,
I mean, I work
listen.
at a TV station, by the way, the official station of the Jaguars on TV, CBS 47
Preach.
and Fox 30.
Preach
and
everywhere.
ESPN.
That's-
so we have
that's three
three outlets
stations.
in this town. Three that we could help promote a good event going up.
3
tonight.
stations. No, listen.
And by the way,
I'm
Gardner
with-
Minshew's kind of a big story around here
That's what I heard.
right now.
That's what I
and by
heard.
the way, I've kind of been in Gardner's camp.
Yeah.
Like, I bought headbands.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
You went to his house.
I mean,
Yeah, you went to his house.
hashtag free Minshew's a thing.
He went to Mississippi to go, see where he grew up.
And this freshman PR team that put this thing together.
Yeah. You know what I want to do so bad? Brent, go to earmuff it real quick. Coos, I want to get a Twitch account and just randomly have Gardner Minshew like on like a Twitch kind of thing, me, you, and him, just talking about video games, just a bunch of like nonsense, nothing football related, and I just want to do that to see Brent Martineau's reaction.
If we ended up having him like on a podcast,
Yeah. And we're just talking about the most random, like non-football stuff ever, and then at the end we get Brent a little shout out. I want to see the reaction.
I mean, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm start supporting Mike Glennon in a big time. I'm glad they're starting Mike Glennon.
Oh, Brent,
I'm
come on.
happy about it.
You don't mean that.
I think he gives you the best chance to win.
You don't mean.
I think Doug Marone's right.
Now you sound like them.
Yeah, I mean,
Brent,
I think it was somebody else's fault that they threw a couple of picks.
Corporate show, Brent Martineau. I don't like this. Like, listen.
Offensive line should have blocked better. There should have been a safety.
Brent, what are you doing to the brand right now? We took pride in going against the grain. We take pride in telling it like it is. And we told it like it was when it says, you know what? Gardner Minshew not starting. It gives you the chance to lose. Simple as that. And now you want to wishy-wash? And now you want to flip-flop and go with the status quo? That's not who we are, Brent Martineau.
Listen. I would feel differently. It's not like we got out-hustled here. We got out-contacted here. Like, that's it. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
All right, anyway, let's go with my fine friends of John Reed and Mike DeRocco about, at least they were able to get Gardner Minshew.
So upset.
Can we start selling a shirt that just says out-contacted?
I like that. Hashtag out-contact. Go ahead and trademark that real quick.
That's unbelievable. All right, so here's the deal. Minshew's mad, like me.
Yes, you both are upset right now.
Were you a little surprised, actually, that he came out and said it to the degree that he did, that he basically begged to play, is what's in those articles. He begged to play before the Cleveland game, and Marone said no.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that, and listen, once again, he's pumping the whole foundation thing, which is great, but I am surprised that he did come out and talk about kind of the behind-the-scenes thing a little bit, and I don't want to call it airing out your dirty laundry per se, but you kind of did give us a glimpse of what was transpiring in that locker room, and it didn't look good because essentially what you're doing is you're begging for your job, and Doug Marone said, no, you're not starting.
Yeah.
So, like, that conversation right there paints a giant picture of what's transpiring right now, and let's be honest, it's not good.
Here's the quote from the Florida Times Union. It's not their fault that they reached out to him. Basically begged him to play me that Cleveland week, Minshew said. I'm just a competitor wanting to be out there and help the guys. It hurts, man. So that was one of the quotes. He said, I'm going freaking crazy over here, whether I'm on the sideline or whatever. I just want the freaking Jaguars to win the game. I just want to try and help in any way I can. He did, by the way, if you listen to all of it if you and read all of it, I mean, then you will see that he's still being a team guy. That's in the headlines will come across like, oh, boy, Minshew, but still being a team guy. And then about the injury. Obviously, in hindsight, if I would have known it was hurt like that, I would have said something. I thought it was just kind of a bruise that was slowly getting better. Obviously, there was no intention of hiding anything. And so, we got to kind of read into some of these things. But remember, it was what we believe his agent or one of them or somebody there came out and said, hey, he's been hurt for weeks, which I don't think that did him a service at all. Like they leaked that to Adam Schefter, if you go back after the Chargers game. They would have been way better off just saying, hey, man, I've really banged. I was sore a little bit, but I really, aggravated the injury or whatever. I didn't even have to say it because nobody else knew about the injury, which still is a little bit mind-boggling, the way he was throwing the football and the way things were going. And how bad was it before the Chargers game? Bottom line is he aggravates the injury against the Chargers, doesn't play well. They learn about it. They figure it out. He tells them all this stuff. And since then, he obviously had to miss some time. Mm-hmm. But now it's he's legitimately in the doghouse. I mean, in my opinion. There are some people, you have to give, I say doghouse because I don't believe they're correct in saying that Glennon gives you a chance to win. I think I can back it up that Glennon doesn't give you the best chance to win. But there are some people
back,
in
Brent.
the building.
Thank you for being back here.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to trumpet that. I mean, I can. We'll see. If Mike Glennon's on the show tomorrow, then there's a reason for that.
He's going to Mike Glennon's hometown. But, where's that dude from?
But, there are people that legitimately in the building or around the Jags that think Glennon gives them a better chance to win. Yeah. And I think they're out of their minds. And I just don't how they see that.
Yeah.
Like, am I missing something? Does Glennon give them a chance?
Why are you asking me, man? You know the answer. No, absolutely not. He doesn't do anything better as far as I'm concerned. He's taller.
He's taller.
He's taller.
Well, he stays in the pocket. The criticism against Minshew is that he leaves the pocket. You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
He doesn't let things develop, and he just gets out of there.
Yeah.
And they can't keep him in there, and he just hasn't grown in that aspect. That's the criticism of him. And by the way, I don't know if it's a wrong criticism. That might be true.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw Gardner Minshew win games at the end of games and make plays no matter how he was playing in his first year and change in the NFL that I haven't, quite frankly, seen Mike Glennon make in his entire career.
Listen, we broke this down before. The writing's on the wall. Gardner Minshew has violated Doug Marrone's trust. And that's like the cardinal rule that you don't break in the NFL. Because as soon as a head coach loses trust in you, whether it's you not memorizing the playbook, whether it's you getting in trouble, whatever the reason may be, once especially a head coach loses trust in you, that's it. Game over. You're on the bench. Well, usually you get cut. They're not going to cut Gardner Minshew right now. If they were to cut Gardner Minshew, I think Shad Khan would step in and say, yeah, that's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they can't cut Gardner Minshew. So they have to do the next best thing for them and their ego and their pride. And they put him on the bench, and they play, in my opinion, a quarterback who is not as good and a quarterback who doesn't give you the better chance of winning in Mike Glennon. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, so really, you can just tell the tone. Minshew's frustrated, and as he should be. He wants to play, and I got to believe, and he thinks he gives them a better chance to win, and they want to win and all that stuff, but he's not getting in there. Does Minshew play again this season?
It's a great question. I have a hard time believing that they go back to Minshew unless the Glennon experiment is so bad where it's like you have no other choice. I think that if Glennon goes out against Tennessee, loses the game, maybe throws 1 to 2 touchdowns, has 2 turnovers, and we leave that game thinking, man, Minshew could have won that game, I don't think the status quo changes. But now I think if Glennon goes out there and has 4 interceptions and a fumble, I mean, it's to the point where it's like, listen,
I don't know, man.
You got to stop lying to us, and you got to tell us what's really going on here.
Well, you got to stop lying to your team.
Well,
in essence, because he did have 2 picks, a fumble, and a safety.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying the safety. I don't know. Was that on him? Who knows? But
and this is the crappy thing about this year, Brent, is like we're not in the locker room. I've never been in the locker. I mean, I talked to Alex Magoo once in the locker room. That was about it.
It's a great conversation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Swagoo, where are you at, man? Anyways, but you're in there. You feel the dynamic. You know the inner workings, and you can kind of get a vibe of how everyone's responding. Well, we don't have that this year. So to sit back here and say, well, the locker room's got to be ticked because Gardner Minshew's not playing, I mean, from my experience, yeah, I would be pissed off, let's just say. Like, you're saying we're going to win a game, but you put Mike Glennon in? Now, I'm not sure how much of that locker room, though, feels, mistrust by Gardner Minshew, and is still upset with him at the end of the day, too, right? Because
would you be?
I wouldn't be, because I get it. Like, you're, once again, and maybe you think I'm too aggressive here, but he's fighting for his livelihood. Yeah. Like, the guy had a hurt hand. He covered it up. Why? Because he wanted to keep on playing. Like, would you rather have a quarterback do that, or would you rather have your starting quarterback, your field general, go to the trainers and say, my finger hurts. Take me out. I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks. Take me out and put Mike Glennon in. I don't want to play no more. Which quarterback would you want to have? I'd rather want to have the guy that, is ballsy enough to go out there and keep on playing.
Josh says 1 game being benched after coming back from injury sends a message. 2 games is petty. Marrone needs to get over it and let the kids out of the doghouse. #free Minshew. Yeah, let's get the shirts, maybe. Antonio says, he doesn't think that Minshew will play again this season. So I think Marrone will be forced to play Minshew again this season. Mm-hmm. And because you can't keep, after every game, say Glennon gives you the best chance to win, and I just don't think Glennon's going to play great football. I mean, we've seen that. That's his track record.
Yeah.
Maybe he bounces back, has a better game this week, takes care of the football. But to be honest with you, it's really strange to me that he's still, maybe Gardner won't play again based on the fact that right after the game, after a game where you threw a touchdown that should have been a pick, threw 2 picks, fumbled the ball, and took a safety, the coach said, oh, yeah, that's my guy next week, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Well, that's what stunned me. It wasn't almost that he even said it, but he said it right then.
Oh, yeah. Didn't take any time to think about it. Like, we have to review it a little bit, watch the film. No, it was right away. Mike Glennon's the starter.
And now we're going to like, well, if he needs more reps in practice. I mean, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Does he though? I mean, how many reps get taken in practice?
So all I'm going to say, no.
I mean, we're talking about
man.
December practice.
You're not lying. All I'm going to say is this. Tennessee Titans are coming to town. Baker Mayfield just dropped some serious fantasy points on the Tennessee Titans. Now, I think they're a lot better than what they showed this past Sunday, but they could be motivated, whatever the case may be. But let's be honest, Brent. This Tennessee Titans secondary, you're not worried about the secondary of the Tennessee Titans. Let's just say that. And the pass rush of the Tennessee Titans, you're not worried about them either.
Yeah, defense has been just okay.
Yeah, so if you're Mike Glennon right now, and you go out there and you have another performance like you had in Minnesota, I mean, what is Doug Marrone going to tell us next? I mean, I can't wait. Listen, I want the Jaguars to win. I've been very adamant about this, but I almost want to see a loss just so I can see Doug Marrone go out there and say, what are you going to tell us this week, Doug? What are you tell? Oh, you still give us the best chance going. I want to see it.
Yeah, I don't think he can say it with a straight face.
Doug Marrone bingo, man. Let's go and put some phrases on the card and let's fill it out. Visca, no offense to you.
I don't think he can do it. Robert Sixto says, I don't think it's too much of an exaggeration to say Jaguars could be his one and only shot at getting a starting job in the NFL. So I could see some desperation to get that second chance. We'll see. Josh says, yeah, but only because I expect Glennon to get wrecked at some point. Well, obviously, if he goes down, then Minshew would play. Minshew has been the backup. We'll be right back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690.
Taken, and how would you characterize this win?
I haven't given it much thought. All wins are good wins, Heather, but I'm happy for our organization, obviously, and happy for the fans. I mean, I'm sure everyone back in Buffalo stayed up late to watch it, so hopefully the kids got some rest and everyone can get up early tomorrow when they're supposed to get up.
You going Sean?
That was McDermott, yeah.
Yeah, Sean McDermott. Hey, I'm 1 for 1.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I was thinking Josh Allen with them. I don't think Josh Allen has any kids.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. And by the way, did you watch Josh Allen last night?
Josh Allen's pretty good.
Did you watch my backup quarterback on my fantasy team last night? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're a good GM.
I'm going to have some
Keep him
tough
on the bench.
decisions. Hey,
Let me
there
guess.
could be some change.
Let me guess. Kyler Murray gives you the best chance to win.
Who's that? Never heard of the guy. Josh Allen's coming in now.
Yeah.
Hey, and this is the great thing about this show. Like today, we're doing our quarterback grades, whatever.
Yeah,
But like,
can't wait for that.
But we understand what's going to happen, right? Like Kyler Murray, as far as I'm concerned, no, I have to check the matchups. I have to throw it in the Austin Lane analytical computer to make sure I'm making the right decisions here. But more than likely, Josh Allen could be my fantasy playoff quarterback, and I'll never talk about Kyler Murray again. Washing my hands of it, Brent. Washing my hands.
It's a cutthroat business.
Cutthroat business, man. Cutthroat business. What have you done for me lately?
Let's get Steve and I real quick. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. He's been hanging a while. Sorry, man. What's up?
Hey, not too much, guys. How about y'all?
Oh, I'm
I'm
pissed.
doing good, and Brent's upset, so.
Oh, I know. His promotion scheme is wrong. You got to say, hey, 690 Syndicate has come a calling for Minshew.
There you go, Brent.
That's how you
Tell them the
promote it.
syndicate sent you.
Hey, by the way, spread the word on the 690 Syndicate to Deck the Doors campaign that
Yeah,
we have
man.
on ESPN690.com. That was a good segue right there, Steven. But little Ronald McDonald House charities around the holidays put a smile on kids' faces. Just $5 donation. Jump in if you're a part of the 690 Syndicate. We need to rally here around this holiday season. ESPN690.com. Okay, go on.
I have a question because you were talking about it last week, and you guys have mentioned it most of the week because of the GM situation and maybe getting a new staff. I think I have a combo, and I wanted to hear your opinion on it.
Okay.
For the GM, I was thinking maybe Adam Peters from the 49ers because of what he's done for that defense with the signings and everything he's done. The head coach, I was thinking Brian, is it Dable or Dabble
Yeah.
from the Buffalo
Dable.
Bills?
I think either one. That's good for me for right now. Well, when he gets his introductory press conference, we'll ask him.
Okay, because, I mean, he's done wonders with Josh Allen. He's improving every year. So that would be great for a franchise quarterback.
All right, man.
My offensive coordinator, I'm stuck on either maybe give Jay another year or I want to kind of go with Byron Leftwich because he has been a QB. He would like to have a quarterback that could sling the ball down the field.
All right.
And he works with great receivers, and this one's Austin's territory. Patrick Graham from the Giants. He has done wonders with that defense.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Stephen, for checking in. Those are good suggestions. I'd have to dig a little deeper on Graham and as a defensive coordinator. I mean, gosh, you're really getting down the road now.
Yeah, man.
Hiring DCs and OCs.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know a lot about the San Francisco guy you were mentioning with the GM. I mean, it felt like a Lynch operation mostly. The Dable thing is interesting because don't you kind of see, like, say they do get Justin Fields. Justin Fields, Josh Allen, do they have similar games at all? You don't think so?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like Josh Allen is kind of an outlier in the NFL, and I mean that with all due respect, you know. But like, I don't know. He's weird to me. He's an enigma, if you will.
Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. Who you got? You can get one. You can redraft
right now. Say it one more time.
Not
sorry.
for tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Allen, Mayfield, Lamar.
I'm probably taking Josh Allen. I think that he's shown the biggest arm talent. Obviously, he has the mobility, not to Lamar Jackson, but he has some mobility to get the job done. I'm taking Josh Allen.
And he's shown a lot of growth, too.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look.
Miraculous. No, he didn't. Carr and company needed a miracle, and it's the rookie Ruggs wide open.
Jaguars fans everywhere pounding Fireball, throwing their remote at the TV.
I have one question for you, Jason Fitz. Is Greg Williams already in the Raiders Hall of Fame?
Oh, man, I wouldn't be opposed to him joining it. Look, guys, there's two ways during a football game that I'll be the first to admit. My language is not always the most family-friendly during football games. There's two ways that I use the F word. Same word, very different tone. When Carr missed Aguilar for what would have been the wide-open game-winning touchdown with about 10 seconds left, I used it repeatedly one way. And then if you flash forward just a few seconds later, I was repeatedly using it the other way. I think I owe like a cookie bouquet to about 5 of my neighbors at this point.
Oh, my gosh. You know, like, I understand for Raiders fans, that was euphoria, and that's great. And that was big because you guys were about to be on a bad slide after last week's performance and then losing to the Jets. But down here, I just want you to know and recognize that was the most hurtful loss of the season. It wasn't the 11 in a row by the Jags. It was the one by the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, and you're not wrong in feeling that way. I mean, the fact is, as I've told you guys before, I believe that Justin Fields is going to be a very good quarterback. I think there's a lot to be really excited about for Justin Fields. But I'm also a fan of proof of concept. And, you know, sometimes when we see young quarterbacks and everybody says, how are they developing? I think one of the things that happens from our analyst standpoint is that for years, so many NFL analysts didn't watch a lot of college football. So they're trying to sort of evaluate Sam Darnold and saying, well, who is he as a pro? Without acknowledging that Sam Darnold as a pro has been very much like Sam Darnold was as a college quarterback. Some of the same problems, same issues. He hasn't grown through them. So when I look at young quarterbacks, I love proof of concept. The fact is Trevor Lawrence has so much proof of concept. We've seen how stinking great he can be. So absolutely, if there's a quarterback that you're going to bank on, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is that guy. But that being said, as much as everybody loves him, if you're telling me that my favorite team is going to get Justin Fields this year in the draft, I still feel really good about that. So, you know, I know nobody wants a consolation prize at quarterback, but I believe that you're talking about two guys that are going to end up being very, very good starters.
Jason, you're an avid Raiders fan. I respect the fandom, but I have to ask you this. If the Raiders would have lost that game to the Jets, would your little safe space sandcastle went crumbling down in the sea of reality, if you will, where you were finally ready to admit that the Raiders maybe aren't as good as we thought they were this season? Like,
oh, God, yeah. If they had lost that game, I mean, I will say straight up, if they had lost the game to the Jets, I think it would be the toughest loss I have seen since the Super Bowl loss. And the reason, a couple reasons. One is that this team actually has a shot at being good. And so seeing them come out and struggle is just, it's baffling. But then the other part of it is just realizing that yet again, you're back in this situation where you're just not good enough against the team that kicked your butt last year. Like, there was no excuse to come out flat. And, you know, I don't think fully that they came out flat. There is sort of a moment where we're reminded how important Josh Jacobs is to this offense. Like, people just want to turn around and make it out like Josh Jacobs is replaceable. He isn't for this offense, and they're going to struggle this week mightily against the Colts if they don't have Josh Jacobs on that team. But, yes, if they had lost to the Jets after what I endured last year at MetLife Stadium, if they had lost again, I think it would have been the most heartbreaking loss I've seen since the Super Bowl. But they didn't, and now they still control their own playoff.
Season saved.
Yes.
Which is okay. See, we're rooting for the Raiders. We need teams like the Bills and the Dolphins to show us the way and how to flip things around. And I need the blueprints. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show, especially with the Bills and the Dolphins, what they're doing. Let me ask you this, Jason Fitz from ESPN. You can listen to Spain and Fitz, 7 o'clock, ESPN radio all across the country. I just asked the question to Austin. Watching Josh Allen last night, really watching his development, and you take Lamar Jackson in a little bit of a backward year for him, a step back at the very least, and you have Baker Mayfield, who sometimes looks really good, like last week, and then other times you're left scratching your head, and is he even doing enough because they run the ball so much? I give you those three guys from that draft class. Who you taking?
Oh, man. Not Baker. Takes nothing against – I mean, Baker last week had his best game as a pro, but the week before he missed a couple of wide-open touchdowns. Like, we're just forgetting that there's been some terrible misses. Also, we're forgetting that Baker, of everybody you just mentioned, has not only the best offensive line, but he's got the best weapons, and he's got great running backs. I mean, Baker is in a dream situation for any quarterback, and he looks okay some weeks and bad others. So, like, I'm not enamored with that. Lamar Jackson – is difficult because I'm not sure that the coaching staff has really done him justice. With the Bills, I guess I would take Josh Allen, but I'll tell you, I think what the Bills have done that Jags fans should be studying and really everybody should be studying across the board is that they did what I always say. Like, you got the young quarterback that you think might be your guy. You have an obligation to go get him weapons. What did they do? They went out and got him a receiver that absolutely is the type of receiver you can bank on. They put the right pieces around him. And, by the way, quietly, McDermott and that coaching staff has sort of created a culture in Buffalo that was ready for this. They insulated Josh Allen from all of the national media sort of critique he got each of his first couple of years. The fan base said, I don't care, you guys don't get it, and they showered him with love. And I think that there's just this level of confidence that comes from knowing that, like, you're good. And it really became – Josh Allen became one of the few quarterbacks that could actually have an us versus them mentality from the fans and the quarterback, and it's really galvanized everybody together. So I think it's smart. I mean, you talked about how the Bills are built and how the Dolphins are built. Dolphins, same way. What did the Dolphins do this offseason? They spent more money on their secondary than anybody else in the NFL this offseason. They have the second most expensive backside of the defense in the entire league, right? Like, they went out and said, hey, we're going to get guys that we know we can trust to play, and we're going to get this quarterback. And if this quarterback can develop, awesome. And if he doesn't, we're still going to have a really thinking good team. We forget sometimes the development of a franchise isn't about the one guy that we all talk too much about. It's about the entirety of the roster. And both of those instances are teams that have really solid rosters with quarterbacks that have been given some space to have a little bit of room to grow early on.
Jason, you said a lot in that conversation that needs to be mentioned here. You mentioned the Bills and you mentioned the Dolphins. And I think two teams that have really turned it around due to their head coaches, right? And Flores and obviously with Sean McDermott there in Buffalo. I think the Washington Redskins have – I'm sorry, the Washington football team. I keep making that mistake, man.
That's twice in one day.
I'm in the past. Hello, the Washington football team, the same thing with Ron Rivera. Now, they're in the NFC East, and it's the NFC East, but they're still in first place right now. They're all defensive-minded type of guys. You can call me a little biased if you want to, but do you get the sense that defensive-driven coaches are a little more of the culture changers, and maybe the offensive-driven guys are a little more of the flashy, outside-the-box thinkers? And then the question to you is, in Jacksonville, where you have the youngest team in the NFL right now, do you go with the defensive side route of obviously bringing the culture, or do you go with Justin Fields, the offensive side of the ball, and think outside the box?
And that's a great question. And you're right. All the people you just mentioned, culture changers, as a general rule, I think, are defensive side of the ball guys that also have like a lovability to them. And you know, I think when you look at who Ron Rivera is, that's a great example of it. Somebody that obviously is incredibly detail driven, but still has this thing that the it factor that we look for from coaches. You know, I think there is, if you're trying to change a culture, that's a definitive way to do it. That being said, from the other side of it, I mean, realistically, Kyle Shanahan and John Gruden have been big parts of changing their respective cultures, and they've done it a little bit differently. There's just a likability to all of these people we're talking about. Like, all of them have that it thing, that whether it's in music or in sports, that people are always looking for. So I think that's a huge part of it. By the way, I'd add Joe Judge to that to that concept too. So, you know, but I would tell you this: if I drafted a quarterback at the top of the draft, the first thing I would do, and this is where I was stunned the Bengals didn't do this. The first thing I do is I call that coaching staff for Ohio State, and I pick somebody off of there that Justin Fields loves. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a quarterback coach. I don't care if it's one of the offensive assistants. I call anybody I can off that Ohio State coaching staff, and I offer them a job right away. And I make that, like, let's make this transition together. We're going to bring in somebody you're comfortable with. We're going to bring in somebody that can play translator, that can make sure that you like the offense and that you understand the play calling. And it doesn't matter whether that's a young quarterback or an experienced quarterback. Part of the problem in Tampa Bay has been that Bruce Arians and Tom Brady are not efforting trying to speak the same language. So I think the day one, what you do is you bring in somebody that's been around that quarterback and you say, hey, We are going to create the culture and the plays that you like so that you're comfortable from day one. It's a huge part of what can help.
Yeah, I like that. You said that in the past, and I think that's a good note. I think the Jags, in your reference too to Cincinnati is someone like Brady, Joe Brady, bringing him in. I mean, which would have been super comfortable. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was somebody else because he wanted to go to Carolina or whatever it might be. But I get your point. I think it's a very good point. I just think it's very important for the Jags to continue to look at teams like the Raiders, the Bills, the Dolphins. Teams have been perennial losers as of late, at the very least, to how you flip this thing. I think those are good examples. It's hard to look at the Patriots. Right now, it's hard to look at Seattle. Right now, it's hard to look at Pittsburgh. There are different animals. They're not in the same ballpark. Let me ask you about one college topic, and it's a big one. Michigan, Ohio State canceled. I don't even see a lot of I know this was a scenario that could play out, and everybody wondered about Michigan. And now Ohio State doesn't meet the threshold of enough games to play in the Big Ten. I get the sense, Jason, that people even in Columbus aren't that nervous about this. I think Big Ten is going to come out tomorrow after a meeting and say, you know what? Ohio State's going to be allowed in, or we're going to give them another game against somebody to make sure they reach the threshold. What do you make of it?
Well, number one, the Big Ten should have already done that. I mean, we all knew this was possible, so why did the Big Ten wait to get to this point to do it? I mean, if they do that, that's fine. But if I'm Indiana, I'm livid because a Big Ten championship matters to a school like Indiana. They'll put the banner up in the rafters for a Big Ten championship, right? Like, there's true meaning to that school for that opportunity in a COVID year or not. And remember, the college football playoff does not have the same rules about number of games to be played. So realistically, whatever the Big Ten is dealing with now is what they inflicted upon themselves, which just, again, speaks to sort of the wall they've been hitting themselves against this entire process. Like, they should have gotten rid of this rule weeks ago. And you're right. I'm sure they'll find a way to get another game played. I think Purdue is open. Realistically, I wish that we could find a way, since Cincinnati's off this weekend too, let's get everybody a game that actually has some playoff implication for both sides. Let's let them go and let them play. But I will say, guys, on Rankings Reaction that Mike Golick Jr. and Christine Williamson and I do on digital, 8 o'clock in the ESPN app Eastern Time on Tuesday nights, we talked to Gary Barta, the committee head, last week. And I asked him straight up if it's part of the conversation, the number of games played. And he said, without a doubt, that the committee has been discussing the fact that the number of games has to matter. So I think that the committee is telling you, hey, get a game somewhere. But the Big Ten has put themselves in this situation, and it stinks for Indiana. Even though Indiana may not be as good a team as Ohio State, to come in now and change the rules when Indiana has been in this situation and should have the right to play for that championship, man, that just feels gross to me.
And the reason why, Austin, the Big Ten's in a tough spot here is because if Clemson Notre Dame's a close game, Florida and Alabama close one, or Alabama loses, or maybe Notre Dame loses but in a close game, then how can you say Ohio State should go ahead of those teams that have played now, 9-10 games, and with the resumes they have? All right.
Especially, because Ohio State hasn't played anybody other than Indiana. I mean, if we want to sit there and lecture Cincinnati about who they played, then at least have the common decency to do the same thing for Ohio State that's beat up on some bad football teams this year.
Yeah, I think the Big Ten, they need Ohio State in this thing.
Of course they do.
And hopefully they find a way to get it done.
We'll see.
They need to. We'll see.
College football doesn't necessarily need Ohio State, in my opinion, though. But the Big Ten needs Ohio State.
No, the Big Ten needs. And listen, if you're the Big Ten, don't be on the forefront in terms of shutting the season down with COVID-19, and then don't fall behind the back burner and say, well, we don't know what to do now. Like, you can't have it both ways. So be at the forefront of both, get Ohio State in the playoffs, and let's go. All right, Jason, you're a big music guy, as am I. I think we were vibing, I think it was 2 weeks ago, in terms of the Celine Dion, Mariah Carey versus match. By the way, now we're going to have Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera on the undercard. Hope you're okay with that. I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're in the same music zone here. Well, since it's Christmas time, right around the corner, we got to go with the power rankings of your top 5 Christmas songs, whether you like to play them, whether you like to listen to them, whatever you like to do with them, your top 5 Christmas songs, and go Jason Fitz.
Does the artist on it matter, or is it just the song? This is an important point of clarification. Am I picking one version?
Yeah, that's a huge point. The artist does not matter.
Oh.
Now, I went specific in some of mine.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll do one specific, and then artist doesn't matter after that. At number 5, and this is specific, at number 5,
the Pentatonics version of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen is absolutely a banger, as the kids say. That is one that, like, I crank up every time. So that comes in at number 5 because I like that version. At number 4, Silent Night, I'll take any version of it, although the Bing version we all know is the best. Let's not be savages. At number 3, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and I don't care whether you take Mariah or Bublé. That's part of why that song's awesome, because it can be upbeat or it can be sort of, chill. So I'll take either. And then the top 2 is really the tough one, right? So at number 2, I'm going to go Carol of the Bells, because it's Carol of the Bells. And at number 1, I like it. This isn't even a discussion, right? Like, I don't want us to not be friends anymore. Oh Holy Night is by far the greatest Christmas carol of all time, right? Like, we're all on the same page, right?
We're all on the same page with 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go back and watch the video and Austin's reaction on your on your number 5.
So Pentatonics, I respect the hustle. They're super uber talented individuals. I'm not going to deny that. But for whatever reason, when it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, they are everywhere. We watched the Thanksgiving parade. My son was watching Pentatonics. It might as well have been a 2-hour Pentatonics commercial. That's all I'm going to say. Now, for the Christmas parade coming up, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing. Pentatonics is essentially like the pumpkin spice of musical acts. Like, they're big for a little bit, and then they just go away to their caves, and we never see them again until the next holiday.
Talent is talent,
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Sorry, Jason.
Austin.
Sorry, man.
Austin, if I told you you could make a year's worth of money by working for about 6 weeks a year, you'd respect that hustle, right? Like, that's what they've maximized. You're not wrong. Yeah. Like, the only thing they put out that, like, whenever they try during the year to put out a normal song of some sort that they've covered, I'm just like, what abomination is this? I don't want to listen to this junk. But when they could put out any Christmas song in December, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like that's the way it's supposed to work.
Tickling my fancy. Yeah, no, I got you, man. I get it. And like I said, I do respect the hustle. But where do they go for those 10 months where they're not in the scene? I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder too.
They sit back and they take baths in their Scrooge McDuck cash. That's just around like.
Just don't dive head first, man. It doesn't pan out well.
Are you giving it a 5? Go ahead.
Are we all going right now?
Well,
do we have time?
Well, Jason probably does.
Yeah.
Who's your 5? Who's your 5?
Okay,
Come on.
Okay, real quick. All right, Brent, turn around because I don't want to see your judgment face because I know you're going to have a problem with these picks. Number 5. What's This from Jack Skeleton and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas, best movie of all time in terms of kid watching because you watch during Halloween and you watch during Christmas. Would you disagree about that?
That's pretty good.
All right, good. All right, number 4, Sleigh Ride. It's just
love the Sleigh Ride.
It's a great
Almost
song.
made my list.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'll play that song in the summer. I don't even care, man. Sleigh Ride's a banger. Number 3. This is
You're not wrong about that, by the way.
Thank you very much. Number 3, personal to me because I sang this in choir in middle school. We Three Kings. Just a really good storytelling kind of song, right? Very peaceful, very melodic. We Three Kings at number 2.
Jalen Ramsey's favorite too.
Yeah. Am I at 2? Am I at 2 right now?
You too.
Yeah. Number 2. Oh, Christmas Tree. Because I had to sing this song in 3 different languages in grade school.
Really?
O Tannenbaum.
Oh, bragger.
Brian of Retter. You know what that is?
No.
That's German.
That's Old Christmas Tree.
Welcome. Yeah. I mean, this is back before we had Rosetta Stone.
And you remembered.
Yeah. This is back before Rosetta Stone. We just had a really hardcore chorus teacher that wanted to show off a little bit. So, Oh, Christmas Tree, number 2. And number 1, to me, not even a debate. It's my favorite song. Brent, you know this. Hey, this whenever. Merry Christmas, the war is over, John Lennon.
Oh,
I absolutely love that song.
Oh, that song is trash.
Oh,
it's trash.
Hey. So if you're going to call that song trash, then you're going to call Tracy Chapman's Fast Car trash because they fall in the same category. I'm not sure what's going on in the song, but it's something serious, and I should probably listen to it. Enough said.
Yeah, you said John Lennon.
I mean, if you're going to go with the war is over, then at least give me, like, Wham! Last Christmas or something. I mean, come on.
Don't ever put Wham and John Lennon in the same category ever again, Jason.
You just did.
Or I'm going to ban you from the show, and you won't be the first person to be banned from the show.
All right, I thought we had to go specific. So here we go. So we can let Jason go. I go Silent Night in Church.
Yeah.
Has to be in church.
Yeah.
There's something about Silent Night in church. And I'm not like this, I don't go to church every week guy.
No, you're good.
When you're in church and you hear Silent Night, there's just something that happens to you, man.
It's peaceful.
It is something that happens.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right, I don't even really like this song, but when these guys do this song, it makes it jump. I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus by the Jackson 5.
I like
There's
that.
something about kids singing that song.
Yeah.
Go listen.
Oh, that's good. I like that one. Yeah,
You know,
I like that one a lot.
It was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
We aren't going to promote adultery, though, on this show.
Oh, okay, maybe
You
not.
know? Okay.
Silver Bells. I love Silver Bells by
Okay.
anyone. Don't
Okay.
even have a
I like
specific.
Silver Wells.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how did none? You're gonna laugh at me for this one. This is probably not the cool kids one, but how can
Careful.
you not do Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen?
The boss.
I mean, that's like
Yeah.
all time. Like I thought you guys would have that number one.
I mean, listen, I don't need Bruce Springsteen, with all due respect to the boss. I don't need him to sing Christmas songs. Okay? Take me back to, take me back to Born to Run, man. Take me back to that. Take me back to Dancing in the Dark. I don't need to hear your rendition of any Christmas song.
Santa Claus Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen. Come on, 5 times in a row, and I love it every single time. Okay. All right, last one. And
Jackson 5 version's better than Bruce's version, but go ahead.
I'll have to check it out.
That's coming
I
from a
probably
musical
dismissed
expert,
it.
by the way.
That's true.
Except he likes Wham, which
and-
is unbelievable.
And my favorite Christmas album of all time is Alabama. And I still believe, and probably you have to go look it up, but it's a song that it was number 1 on that album record. And so every Christmas would start with that song.
Okay.
And so it's my favorite Christmas
Obviously
song
not,
by Alabama.
Obviously not the top one on the charts because I've never heard
No.
that song
And it
before.
won't- you
So
won't
that's a
find it
shame.
on the
But you know what, Brett, I respect that, and I would tell you, like, if I was just going for sentimental favorites, there's a song at the end of the Kenny Rogers, God rest his soul, Christmas record called "When a Child Is Born." That is like the other people have done that song, but nobody's done it the way Kenny did, and it was from his Christmas record in 1980. Telling you, go check out "When a Child Is Born." Might be one of the best vocal moments of Kenny Rogers' career. That one is always like, I know it's Christmas when I get in the car and I play that like 10 times in a row and wail along with it.
I'm going to check it out because I want to do that and hear it and see if I like it just as much as you do. And I just want to let you know, Fitz, I did this for you, and this will be on the inside, and a lot of people won't get it. But I made sure I didn't put Alan Jackson on that list.
Attaboy! Attaboy! See, that's why I love you.
Cruz, can you hang up on this guy? Because listen, man, I'm not going to wake him up, but it's time for him to go because he put Wham over John Lennon. Enough said. I'm done with the guy. Jason Fitz, hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Not sure how it's going to pan out yet.
We'll see you, man. Have a good night.
I mean, it was Wham featuring George Michael, which is, I don't know if that helps.
Thanks, man. Have a good one. Appreciate you hanging with us.
Thanks, guys.
That's Jason Fitz, Spain and Fitz, 7 o'clock on ESPN Radio all across the country.
What did John Lennon do? And this isn't the John Lennon song that I wanted either.
By the way, John Lennon,
kidding.
was it 40 years ago? Passed away today? 40 years
Oh, is it
ago?
today?
I'm pretty sure I thought
Wow.
saw that. Is that right?
40-year anniversary, I believe.
Yeah.
Is this Pentatonics?
This is generic dubstep Christmas
This,
music.
this is probably Pentatonics, bro. This is cool. They're using their mouth. They're using their voices. This isn't even like, a computer program. This is all them making the voices.
Pentatonics is good. Super talented. I appreciate musical talent because I have none.
Get the pumpkin spice of pop music out of it.
That's
No,
a good
I'm done
reference,
with
though.
them.
That's
What's
true.
that?
That's a good
It is.
pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Like I said it's James Harden in the regular season, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
What? But did I miss something? I'm upset with John Lennon. I'm upset with that comment. It's a good song. Yay or nay?
yeah, it's a good song.
It's serious stuff he's talking
It's
about.
like really serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a serious time. 2020.
That's true.
I mean, what more do you want?
I mean, it is
Welcome
kind
to
of
the
like
show.
too serious.
No, it's not.
On a holiday
See?
cheer you up kind
See?
of thing.
No, man, it ain't for you then. It's not for you. That's fine. Go ahead and have fun living in sunshine and rainbow land. Meanwhile, I'm in 2020 just trying to make it through another year, man. And I need some John Lennon. The war is over. What war is he talking about, by the way? Vietnam? You know that? This is back in your time.
Back in my time. We'll be back on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 after I Google that.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunny but cool today, highs around 55, and inland frost and freeze tonight as temperatures drop into the low to mid-30s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Just in time for the holidays. Save up to 40% on everything store-wide at Beards Diamonds.
What can you get done in 10 minutes? Run a mile? Maybe. Find a date online for this Friday? Easy. What about listing your home for sale? In 10 minutes? Can't be possible. With the new Instant List tool from Rex, it is. Rex Instant List allows you to value and list your home with an agent in as little as 10 minutes. With the real estate market getting hotter, time is money. Let's get started. Visit sellwithrex.com. Since 2015, Rex has provided sellers with over $25 million in savings and absolutely no sacrifice on service. Have 10 minutes to spare? Visit sellwithrex.com to get started. Or speak to a Rex agent at 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. That's 833-739-4663. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
License number, Florida, CQ 1057788.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Honda of the Avenues is Jacksonville's Honda Giant for good reason. The area's largest selection of new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles in one location. Plus a fast, fair, and easy process in both sales and service. Honda of the Avenues is proud to announce the grand opening of our new service expansion for express services. We'll get you in, out, and back on the road fast. Our happy customers tell our story best. We're proud to have thousands of 5-star Google reviews. Find out for yourself why Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant. Online at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
You can't miss the unplanned, unexpected, unbelievable sale Diamonds Direct is having this weekend. All earrings are 25% off Friday through Sunday. Yes! It's a surprise flash sale on all earrings. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, gold earrings. Best prices ever. Take an extra 25% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price. It's the perfect ready-to-wrap gift for the women in your life. All diamond studs are included. Special financing available too. A truly epic earring event this Friday through Sunday only. And only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, we've been celebrating 10 years in business. Over the years, we've constructed thousands of projects in the Northeast Florida region. From commercial to residential, we handle each project with the respect and care it deserves. We look forward to speaking with you about your next construction project. Find out more at lloydsconstruction.net. ESPN 690 wants you to shop the 904. And by doing that, you keep most of the money and jobs right here on the First Coast. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904.
Suddenly, you're on the receiving end of someone else's negligence. What do? You call 1-800-ASK-GARY. They will help you find the legal and medical help you need to get the settlement you deserve. 1-800-ASK-GARY.
No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of Fields Auto Group's dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group stores in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
This is an email. Why is WWE Wrestling not being shown on Friday night?
Austin Lane.
Thank you very much. Read it right now. This could be
just
for me.
did. Why is WWE? That's it. That's why I thought, I don't know. I mean, Ronan's only 5. I don't know how many sentences he can make. Smart kid.
Somebody might have proofread it for him.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Got more hate email from Steelers fans yesterday. even though they lost.
Wait,
I was looking forward to watching the Redskins-Steelers game yesterday.
Nope.
It's Washington now.
Oh,
Say that. I'm just reading what they wrote.
I got you. Yeah. Sorry, everyone's making that mistake today.
Got your news instead. Thanks for nothing. You really dropped the ball and lost a bunch of viewers.
Well, did you want to watch your team lose like that to Washington?
I just always think it's funny that people think I have the power to show what NFL game is on.
I think you do.
I appreciate that.
I'm not going to lie. When SmackDown was off the air because of you had to show a Jags preseason game from 1997, I was a little upset.
Yeah.
All right. My son was upset too.
I actually kind of liked making you mad on there, but I didn't have the power then either.
Yeah.
Now, I'll take the credit when things go well. If you like a switch that we make.
Sure. Real quick, more aggressive, Steelers fans or wrestling fans?
Oh, Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Your inbox is flooded with some Steelers fans.
Oh, my
man.
gosh. It didn't stop. It's still not stopping.
There was any wrestling fans in your DMs or inbox that said, like, why isn't the wrestling being shown? Yeah. But were they polite?
Yeah, they were okay.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Plus, wrestling's on like 18 times a week.
That it is, Brent. It's hard to keep up with.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Every couple of weeks, Josh Allen, Jags pass rusher, joins us here on ESPN 690. Josh, hope you're doing well, man. Are you a wrestling fan?
I was at one point. I was a Big Show fan. You know, that was my guy. And then Rick Astley. That was my guy.
Choke slam. I like that.
So are you, like, pleading at all at some point with Tony Khan to be a part of AEW, like just a guest appearance?
You know what? I did mention it to him. Don't know if it's going to get farther than that, but you know, just the thought that matters is, you know. But I talked to him about it. Hopefully, you know, he'll give me a chance one of these days.
Hey, plant those seeds, Josh. Plant those seeds. Now, a little spoiler alert for you, man. A little warning out there. Supposedly, Shaq's going to make an appearance in the next couple weeks for AEW. So you're in competition with Shaq right now. I mean, you're a pretty big brand name yourself. I'm not sure if you're to Shaq's level quite yet.
Oh, no, not yet. But definitely, I got to see when he comes. You know, I might have to come to that one.
Yeah, and you can. They've been right here at Daly's Place in Jacksonville. That got me thinking. Shaq, obviously, in his heyday years ago, who was your favorite athlete growing up across all sports, whether it was football, basketball, baseball, whoever? Did you have a favorite?
Favorite overall athlete? Probably no. You know, somebody that I idolized it was my uncle. You know what I mean? I was the only athlete that I, you know what I'm saying, growing up that I knew of and that had success when he played. So that was really my idol growing up. And then, but football, you know, just football-wise, Troy Polamalu, basketball, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, you know, millennial stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. No doubt about it. Josh Allen with us.
Notice how he didn't say Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, Brent.
He didn't, or he didn't say Kobe. Like, I was wondering if he'd say Kobe, but more LeBron. And right now, LeBron and Kyrie is an interesting conversation in itself, which we might get to a little bit later on in the show. Hey, you missed the last two games on injured reserve. I don't know how much you can share with us. How's the knee going? And we were just wondering in commercial break, do you think he'll play again this year? Do you know that yet?
I don't know that yet. I'm taking it week by week. You know, it sucks that I'm really not out there. So I'm definitely feeling it. But, you know, I got to take care of my body, and I got to come back 100% because, you know, me coming back 85% means, you know, questionable re-injuring my injury. So, and I don't want to go through that, and I'm not going to make nobody better. So definitely want to come back 100%. But, you know, we're just going to see week by week.
Josh, you know, when these past couple games, we've seen a lot more, at least to my eyes, it looks like a lot more blitz packages being used, whether it's a linebacker blitz, a safety blitz, sometimes even a corner blitz. And, like, I tried to break this down for Brent a little bit. At least when I played, like, when a blitz was called, you kind of got, like, that twinkle in your eye a little bit because it's like, oh, man, we're coming to the quarterback. I'll see you guys in the backfield. Does that still kind of resonate with you where anytime you're in a huddle and that blitz call is called from whether it's Joe Schobert or Todd Wash making the call? But, like, do you get a little excited when that blitz call is in play?
Most definitely, especially if the blitz is for you. That's definitely going to give a lot of signs. But, you know, if it isn't for me, I'm just so glad we get to bring an extra rusher or somebody just disguise them to mess up their protection. So it's always good when you get a blitz. And, you know, I've been watching the games, and like you said, we've been blitzing a lot more, and they've been really effective. So hopefully we can continue to hit home more and more and more and be able to get them off the field and get turnovers.
You know what? And Josh makes a great point here because usually in a blitz package, there's always kind of like that decoy guy, right? Where he's kind of like the fail-safe. Doesn't really get in on the action, but he has a job to do. It's a very thankless job because everyone's got to do their own job, right?
So there's a lot of lobbying going on.
Being that decoy right now is not a good spot to be in. So I feel you, Josh.
Yeah, it's the decoys and the sacrificial lambs. Those you know what I'm saying? You always going to have one of the guys that just has to get it the worst, but, are one of the key pieces to make the play work. So definitely, if you're not the playmaker, you definitely have a big role in that. And, you just got to do what you got to do.
That's why they call it the ultimate team game. We ask you about this guy a lot, but you're watching that game the other day, and Caleb on Chason, from Doug Marone's thoughts, but even from our eyes, and I think even like the Pro Football Focus numbers, if you pay attention to that stuff, said he had his best game as a pro. 5 quarterback pressures, saw him standing up quite a bit. You tutored him a bunch so far this year. What did you see out of Caleb on the other day against Minnesota?
My thing, I talked to him today, the thing that I would want him to do is just to play more. The more he gets in, the more opportunity that he has to make plays is the better. I feel like that he's going to get better from that. But just watching him play and watching him be, play more like himself, you definitely can see a difference in him. And you definitely can tell that he's getting more comfortable when the years go on. Sucks that that it's to this point, but as long as he's getting it, and if he's getting it slowly, that's his game. But I feel like watching this game, he's definitely getting more comfortable pass rushing, and he's working on what they teach him to work on. So definitely good to see. And my bottom thing is, man, I just want him to play a little bit more so he can get comfortable and have a rhythm and stay with that rhythm. Because I know that's how I got better, and that's how I learned. So hopefully he continue to grow and continue to get better and continue to learn, and make this team better.
Talking to Jaguars defensive end Josh Allen. Josh, like when I was making my transition from college to the pros, I came from a system where my hand was in the dirt most of the time. Now, those rare occurrences where I got to stand up, I loved it because anytime you can stand up, you feel like a little more like an athlete for whatever reason. And that kind of transitioned to my NFL career as well. When you have a guy like Chason coming from a 3-4 defense, outside linebacker spot, has always played standing up, well, you can kind of relate to that a little bit as well because you spent a lot of time in college standing up. You guys get to the pros, and now all of a sudden you're asked to put your hand in the dirt a little more. How hard is that transition from standing up to putting the hand in the dirt, especially playing that position at the highest level?
Obviously, if he wants to talk to somebody, I'm probably the main person he needs to talk to, because it really is a different. It's really a different position. Coming from just standing up, being an athlete, like you say, always on your feet, always moving, where you can use your ability to make a lot more plays. You feel like going strict to 3-4. It's definitely a mind game on players. It definitely was for me. But I feel like once you understand and once you start to figure it out, that that if you put your hand down, all you're doing is rushing the passer. It's going to be better. But definitely, I like standing up. I was starting to do a little bit more before I got hurt, and I started to get more comfortable in it. So hopefully in the near future we can bring it back to that because, I like it. And obviously he's getting comfortable with it, and he's making a lot more plays. So hopefully he can stand up more and more and more. But, in situations where he has to get a 3-point, we learn and we know that we have to do that. But just on some situations where we can stand up, when we can stand up, let's take those opportunities. And he's definitely taking his opportunities. And, obviously you can tell he's more comfortable playing like that. So we just got to be able to, use him. And I know we are. And we are now, as you can tell. So hopefully we can get better from that.
Yeah, well, I don't fully understand it. I get what you're saying, and I kind of liken it to, there's always been talks in the last 10 years, especially of quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah.
Like when Tebow came out, even Gabbert, when he came out, it was like, can they take a snap under center? Because they were taking so many shotgun snaps. I'm like, just go take the snap under center. Like, how hard is this? But getting your drop, getting your read, the timing, all that stuff, there's something to it. Well, now, look, the NFL has kind of changed, right? So many people are out of the shotgun. They've adapted to the college quarterback. And I think you got to adapt to players' skill sets and what they're used to, even the subtle things. Like, that doesn't seem like a big thing to me. I got to be honest with both you guys. But both you guys played in the league, and you know what you're talking about. For me, standing up, sitting, hand in the dirt, Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
It's actually a big transition. I know. Yeah, it's standing up or getting your hand in there. It doesn't sound like it's hot, but it's really a big transition on us. Because like you said, when you stand up, you can actually, you can move around, you can spin around, you can use the athletic ability to really disguise and jump out of it because you're used to that. And then when you go straight to hand in the dirt, you can't really move. You only go in one way, you know what I mean? And you can't really false step. You really can't do none of this. So it's definitely limited a little bit. But like once you get the feel of it and once you start to learn and progress and get it, then it's not a problem. But like just guys coming in the league, because I was always a 3-4 outside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I could play 3-4 in once I got to the league and transitioned to that position. But other people, it might not be like that. So it's definitely going to be a transition. But, being able to move and be able to switch the way you do it, I feel like, it comes to people different. Takes people longer to develop that. But, it is what it is. And, once you get here, you got to do what you got to do. And right now we're doing what we got to do. But, like I said, you got to do what you got to do. That's all I can really say.
No, without a doubt, we get what you're saying, man. And I think it's a testament to you, too, because your first year where you were asked to obviously play with that hand in the dirt, I thought you did a great job transitioning. There was never really a moment where it's like, oh, he looks uncomfortable. He doesn't look easy. And I wish I could get the point across to our listeners and our viewers where just how much of a difference that it is, right? Because you spend so much time ingrained in a certain way of how you get off the football, of the steps that you take, and of the hand placement that you have. And we say it all the time. It's the most cliche thing, but football is a game of inches. And any sort of misstep, any sort of hand placement not in the right spot, you get exposed, and then the eye in the sky does not lie, and it shows on film. So it would be like almost asking like Steph Curry to say, hey, man, you know what? Your three-pointer is pretty good, your shot, but go ahead and add something to it. Right? Like, it's not going to just happen overnight. Like, it takes time to develop into muscle memory. I think that's what Josh is trying to say here.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Definitely well said, Austin. Thank you.
Cool. You good,
Hey,
man?
all right, I'm going to leave you with this. I got to ask you something. Yeah, this football team has lost 11 in a row. Yet they have I think Doug Marone's done a nice job of keeping the mentality. You can see it out. We can all see it. They're busting their butt. I mean, they come inches away from winning these games. Turnover here or there, play here or there. I guess what I'm having a hard time calculating this year, Josh, because we're not in the locker room, because of COVID-19, we're doing these Zoom calls, is how frustrated is the football team? Like, how frustrated are you guys overall, or were you when you were in there? Because you guys are big-time competitors, man. This stinks. This is awful. Like, I'm just surprised. Like, we haven't seen any kind of tirades on the sideline. Like, are people throwing helmets inside the locker room? Like, to be honest with you, I kind of want to see it. I want to see somebody just so dang mad. But you guys have kept your cool. Like, there's a balance there, I get, of being frustrated, but still doing your job to the best of your ability and seeing some growth. What's it like in there with all these losses?
I mean, obviously it sucks. Everybody in our locker room hates to lose. We never, go in a situation saying that we're going to lose. So if I can speak for myself, and I know I can speak for my team because they, I think they'll trust me. But so me speaking for the team, they all hate to lose. There's not one guy in there that's satisfied after every game. And I can tell you one thing, that every guy in there busted their butt, and they go into the game thinking that they're going to win every game, thinking that they're going to win every one-on-one, even though realistically it happens to the best of us. Not everybody's going to win every one-on-one. Not everybody's going to, hit a quarterback. Not everyone's going to catch it. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you have many of those things keep happening, then that's when, stuff happens. But I know with those guys, we get frustrated. We talk it out. You know what I'm saying? We learn from our mistakes. We learn from this. I feel like all we are going to do from this experience is grow from this. We, like we said, we practice hard. We play hard. It's just not the outcome that we want. And, if that's what it is, it's not like we not out here getting blown out and guys are just giving up. You can tell they're giving up. No, we go out here and compete every play. They go out there and compete every play. And that's what I love about this team. That's why I know this team is, we're going to be a good team. Eventually, soon. And I feel like, we're a young team. We're a team that's learning. We're a team that's developing in every aspect. And I'm just so excited. And I just love watching them. Just love play with that enthusiasm, play with that effort, and play just play balls to the wall, so to say. But it sucks losing. I can't. Losing is just not an option. And then we keep doing it, and it sucks on all of us, and it pays a toll on all of us. But all we know how to do is go back to work Monday, look at the film, learn from the film, and come back and play as hard as we can next week. And that's all we can do. It takes all three phases. It takes all 11 people out there on the field to win a game, and that's what it takes, and that's how we try to play. But it's just, like you said, it takes one or two plays to really, to lose a game and to win a game. So, I feel like we're gonna figure that out. We got 4 more games left, and we're gonna play balls to the wall. We're gonna play as hard as we can. Well, they are, and hopefully, come out with one of these wins.
Hey, really well said, man. I appreciate you answering the question, and look forward to talking to you on Jaguars All Access on Thursday night. Be well. Take care of that knee.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
You got it. That's Josh Allen, Jaguars pass rusher. That right there sounded like a guy who's the captain of the football team.
Loved it.
Right?
Great answer. Great answer.
Listen, and listen, I come in here and I ask that question like just about every Monday, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I get it. Like, I understand it. You have a task to do. You got to see those things. But like, I almost needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the fans need to hear that, but I need to hear that. And again, this is so different. I have to remind people, this is different this year for us. We don't see that. Like, I've covered a lot of losing around here. Mm-hmm. And when we go in that locker room, you see guys that are miserable. Mm-hmm. You see guys that are like, get the heck away from me. Don't come over here with that camera and microphone. You see guys that are, handle it better than others or don't, right?
Yeah,
and sometimes
you'll see been on the game for a while, and they know what's up, professionals.
And sometimes you see an occasional, whoa, what's going on over there?
Meltdown, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we don't have that this year, yet they've lost a single season record 11 in a row. Mm-hmm. And so it might just be a me thing, but I'm having a hard time computing that. And again, I'm not saying they're satisfied with losing, but I'm just, especially given the characters and personalities this team has had in the last few years. Like, what would that sideline look with Jan and Jalen? And by the way, I don't mind that by Jan. I don't even mind it from Jalen. Yeah. But I'm just saying, how would they handle this? Maybe there is a sense of maturity about this football team, or they're just so young they don't really know any different. But I also think you have to give credit to the coaching staff for keeping this together, keeping them playing their you-know-what off, and you see that. That's not good enough. Mm-hmm. Like as Josh just said, but I just thought he put it really well. And I think you're getting that from some of your leadership, even though it's young leadership and the coaching staff. And I just hope, and I think even Gardner Minshew said it in the last day or so, those hopefully will pay off. Yeah. That chip, will it make you work harder in the offseason? Will it make you pay attention to detail? Will it make you a better pro, a better player for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2021? I guess that's all we can hope for.
Listen, I'm never going to buy into the narrative that this team is too young to know better, because I've echoed this before on the show, and I'll say it again. Like, from the age of 7th grade, 8th grade, when you start playing Pop Warner football, something clicks in your mind, and it's like, what's fun? Winning football games. And then all of a sudden winning starts to be the only thing. Yeah, having fun's cool, but you want to win. And all of a sudden it's wins and losses. And that never leaves you through high school, through college, and especially not in the pros. So these guys have it ingrained in them right now where you either win or you lose. And if you win, it's going to be a good day tomorrow. If you lose, everything sucks. And I still feel like it's like that in the locker room.
Are the Jaguars free agents? That's the quote coming out of downtown today. What it all means on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Coming up next.
Paid for by Get Upside. This is Matt Crowder live at the Shell station on 41st Street, reporting on the free gas app called Get Upside that's letting people all over the country earn cash back on every gallon of gas they buy. Excuse me, miss. Have you heard of the Get Upside gas app?
Of course. People are earning as much as $300 a year with the Get Upside app. It's so easy. You just take a picture of your gas receipt and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Get Upside gas Gas app and earn up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder, Radio News Network.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents per gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code GREAT for a 50 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents per gallon on your next tank. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code GREAT. That's GREAT.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
Boss, hit the gas! What's going on? You were supposed to check to see if that house had anyone home. Now their porch is on fire.
Boss, I didn't do it. The ding-dong doorbell camera just burst into flames and started melting.
Oh, so it's true. Those things are fire hazards.
Yeah, and now we know another big difference between those cheap ding-dong doorbell cameras and a SafeTouch security system.
Well, yeah. With SafeTouch, homeowners don't have to worry about their video cameras getting hacked.
Or employees spying on customers.
Or bursting into flames.
Uh-oh. Fire department's coming, boss. Time to go.
I'm way ahead of you. By the way, your eyebrows are completely gone.
Oh, well. Maybe it's an improvement.
Just so I know you still got your senses, recite the Crooks R Us golden rule again.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Don't worry. It's burned into my brain.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Worthless warranties, slimy salespeople, shady subcontractors. It's no wonder people don't trust most roofing companies. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting LLC, we didn't trust them either. That's why we started our own roofing company. With more than 25 years of experience, we offer industry-leading warranties, simple, fair financing, and no subcontractors. Residential, commercial, even multifamily properties. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting, we've got you covered. Learn more at allproroofingllc.com.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. Wow, can you believe that Christmas is right around the corner? I asked my wife what she wants, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout in the kitchen, the large Oriental rug in the family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone hangs out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. If you need some cleaning done, give Zero Res a call. Right now, get your carpets cleaned for only $43 per room. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials: a power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a Preferred Rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new Select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, we've been celebrating 10 years in business. Over the years, we've constructed thousands of projects in the Northeast Florida region. From commercial to residential, we handle each project with the respect and care it deserves. We look forward to speaking with you about your next construction project. Find out more at lloydsconstruction.net.
Diamonds Direct's just decided to squeeze in one more incredible event before Christmas. A flash sale on all earrings. This weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included. So this is huge. Special financing too. Guys, you can never go wrong with a nice pair of diamond stud earrings. And you've never seen prices this low. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
Do you have a passion for sales? Are you known for building strong relationships? Do you love to compete and win? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our family as a media consultant. This position will require a committed person who will forge great relationships with Jacksonville's business leaders and develop profitable campaigns for advertisers. If your talents are a match, email your resume to jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's JAXJOBS@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Island Doctors for approximately 10 years, and we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our Best Wellness program, and welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jax Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jaxcoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. Saturday's Ohio State-Michigan game has been canceled due to a COVID-19 outbreak in the Wolverines program. The unbeaten Buckeyes have played 5 games. The Big Ten currently requires 6 to be played for teams to be eligible for the Big Ten championship game. Conference ADs will meet tomorrow when they could discuss changing that 6-game requirement. Jalen Hurts is the Eagles' new starting quarterback. The rookie will get the call against the Saints Sunday with Carson Wentz as the backup. Hurts outperformed Wentz after Wentz's benching in the loss to the Packers. The timing of this move is a little curious, though, to ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
I'm not sure that the Eagles' offense is really set up to help Jalen Hurts be successful, right? I mean, you know, from a receiving core, it's not like these guys are making a ton of plays. Your offensive line has been just decimated by injuries. I think they've had 10 or 11 different combinations of starters.
James Harden took a COVID-19 test in Houston today as part of the NBA's protocol to return to play. Once cleared to return, the next step would be for Harden to join the Rockets training camp, which did tip off over the weekend without him.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
They're probably going to be looking for a coach they feel can sort of shepherd Trevor Lawrence into his NFL career, and that probably means an offensive guy, even though it's not the best idea to approach your coaching situation that way. Do we want offense? Do we want defense? You want actually someone who's a leader that can maybe even delegate that responsibility. But our Jets reporter, Rich Cimini, in his Sunday notebook this week, a couple days ago, raised the possibility that they would pursue Doug Peterson if the Eagles decided to move on from him, or if they could work out a trade. You know, Joe Douglas, the Jets GM, worked with Peterson there in Philadelphia for a couple of years, so there's a connection. So, look, I mean, it's early to know for sure. The Jets are certainly thinking that way. I think it's fair to assume.
You know one thing about the Jets, that's Dan Graziano from ESPN. I mean, I could see somebody going after Peterson. There's something that I don't like, because we talk about this a lot on the show, but something like, just because he has a relationship with him, Like, I understand. That's true. It's a big job, right? I mean, you got to know. You want to know. Hey, listen, if I didn't know you at all before the show, right, how would I have an idea? You know, and I didn't know you well.
No, you didn't.
Right?
No.
So, I mean, we got stuck with Kuz, so this isn't a good example with Kuz. But
literally forced down, literally just forced on us.
I mean, he just was here.
Just happy to be here.
He was living here, man. He was, oh, hey, guys, what's up?
I mean, we finally
studio.
got it to the point where about 2 or 3 days a week he's not here.
Yeah. So we're slowly weeding ourselves off Kuz right now.
But, so I get, like, listen, if I was a GM, what you got to be careful of is picking a guy that's your buddy. That's what you always say, right? You can't go, but that happens, and not saying the GM, but the coaching world, it certainly happens. But you do probably want to feel comfortable about somebody. You know, that's one thing, like Gus Bradley and Dave Caldwell didn't know each other at all, which is kind of interesting. Like, not at all. And so they were paired together, and I think they got along well, and they it didn't work, but I don't think that was the problem, right? You can debate, like, obviously Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone knew each other well, but Dave Caldwell didn't know Tom Coughlin well in terms of working with him. I mean, he knew about him and all that stuff, and there were really no secrets with Tom anyway, so it's probably okay. But you get my point. I mean, you got to be careful to stick somebody with somebody.
Yeah. And then we've used this example before, John Dorsey, Andy Reid. You know, and they had success. They had promise, and they didn't really gel, and obviously John Dorsey was the guy that was selected to leave, and Andy Reid stayed. So even sometimes when you have success and it looks like the future is bright, you still let somebody go.
Well, and here's the other thing. I thought about this, right, because I was so mad at Greg Williams the other day. And so, but if you think about what the Jets did, this to me is bad ownership. Adam Gase is a weird guy.
Yep.
It's not just his eyes. Seriously, he's a weird guy. People know that. Like, he's not.
He's never given an interview or like at a press conference where I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, yeah, I can get behind this guy. Every single time it seems like it's something new with Adam Gase.
Okay, Greg Williams, weird guy.
Yeah. Oh, and he's had a history.
Yeah, but another strange guy. Listen, it's okay to be weird. This isn't a knock on weird people. It's just
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's just that if you're mixing those two guys together seems so odd, and not only that, in New York. I mean, that just seems like such a moron. Like, you could criticize the Jags and Shad Khan for a lot of different moves. That seems like just a grossly mistaken move.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not just those two that are together, but Gase in New York being pretty mediocre to begin with anyway, and then throw Greg Williams in the mix. I mean, this was bound to be a catastrophe, wasn't it?
No, without a doubt. I mean, you had a recipe for combustion. That's exactly what happened. I always say this. I always say you have to have the identity, and it's become cliche on the show, but it is the truth. But at the same time, how you get that identity, you also need balance, right? And I compare it like this. My rookie year, it was a rude awakening to the NFL for me because I came from a university where my defensive line coach, and we've had him on the show before, one of the most wholesome and just quiet, mild-mannered individuals you're ever going to meet. Didn't swear. Didn't cuss. Didn't believe in it.
That's boring.
I know, right? Like, he just talked to you like a man, and I respect him for that. And truth be told, probably the best coach I ever had. Now, when I get to the pro level, I get to the Jaguars, we have Joe Cullen, who it's night and day, right? This guy's yelling at you. He's got that raspy East Coast accent going on. And listen, and I got nothing but love for Joe Cullen. I respect the ambition, the hustle, and the enthusiasm that he brought on a daily basis, even when his voice was gone, even when his vocal cords were like, hey, can we take a break today maybe? No, Joe Cullen was going to find a way. Yeah, exactly. He was going to find a way to succeed that. But what I realized was, yes, Joe Cullen was a yeller, a screamer, a very high intense dude. But for every Joe Cullen, we had a Mel Tucker. Right? Yeah. Mel Tucker, you'd get on you a little bit, but you'd never, like, cuss you out. He would never call you on for anybody because he was a little more mild-mannered as well. And then it dawned on me as I looked at every single position group, like the offensive linemen, then the wide receivers, like with Jerry Sullivan, and I see the running backs. Every single position group was made up of a different personality. Some were super intense, yelling at you a lot, and some were obviously a little more laid-back, quote-unquote, players coaches. And that's how you build a team. You need a little bit of everything. You kind of need that position coach going to kind of keep you on your toes a little bit and hold you accountable. You need that guy in the locker room as a position coach who's going to be a little more chill and just, hey, what's up, coach? How's it going? And you can have like an everyday conversation with. It takes all types. And what it's about to me is getting all those types and finding that balance.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people will, I think naturally you try to pick somebody when if you're in a coaching position, that's a lot like you.
Yeah.
You default to that because that's what you know. Well, a lot of folks in business and other places will say, don't do that. Pick somebody that fills in the gaps that you have.
Yeah.
If you can identify them and are not as egotistical enough to
sometimes
say that
you're
you're
exact
perfect.
opposite, just like you and me.
That's right.
Sometimes you're exact opposite.
That was accidental, but
but here we are.
we're going to get to Lot J stuff in a moment because there's some developments there today. But first, I have a question for you. There's a new school in St. Johns County coming.
Yes.
And I don't even know how to pronounce it. I didn't. I just saw it and I haven't heard it.
Okay.
It's Tocoi. Kuz, I don't know if you've heard Tocoi.
Tocoi.
I mean, it's got to be Tocoi, right? I mean, what other way can you say it? But Tocoi Creek High School.
Yep.
Which I didn't. I'm assuming there's a creek named Tocoi down there, and I didn't even know that existed.
Yes, it's some with the Native American tribe that was around there. Yep.
So Tocoi Creek High School, and here are the nickname mascot options.
Oh, hit
but
me
you also have to wait. But you also the colors are already set.
The colors are set at like it looks like orange, black, and maybe like a charcoal.
Gray. Yep.
Yeah, I'd say gray. Looks Orange Park, Atlantic Coast.
Yeah.
You know, listen, you can only do so many colors.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have 60 high schools in the area,
but I think the colors go into like how the mascot.
That's fair enough.
You know,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So here are the options: Bulls.
The bull. Okay, wait, hang on. What's the school's name again?
Tocoi Creek.
The Tocoi Tocoi Creek Bulls. The Tocoi.
Is that a wabbit or a wife?
I mean, man, my accent or something. Something's not registering
so
here.
So that's not going to work.
I don't know if it's my eye socket that's like still a little swollen. Something's not transmitting here. The Tocoi Creek Bulls. No, absolutely not. There's no flow to that.
Okay, the Tocoi Creek Cyclones.
What about the derechos? What if we look
derechos now?
Derecho should have been an option.
Are there Cyclones in Jacksonville?
No. Tocoi Creek Hornets.
Ooh. You know, I'm a big B guy now.
Yeah. You would like the B's.
You know, I'm a big B guy. But once again, Tocoi Creek Hornets.
Tocoi Creek Hurricanes.
Better. It means a little more.
Tocoi Creek Longhorns.
No, we're not in Texas. Hook 'em.
It's hard. It's hard
what
to get.
What are we doing?
It's hard to get rid of that.
We're doing this now in Jacksonville.
It's kind of cool.
No,
though.
man, you can't hook 'em horns.
Maybe you get
when you got a bottle of
something.
Fireball in your hand.
But,
yeah, maybe.
But you just said, see that burnt orange look.
That would fit. Yeah.
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 Nah.
Moccasins.
Wait, their colors are burnt orange. Oh, I got it. Okay, keep going though. Let's see what you
Moccasins.
Those snakes.
Yeah. Although I thought
it's 2020. Yeah, Native American shoes. No, we're not going on that road. What? Don't look at me like that.
Tecoy Creek Moccasins. Tecoy Creek Razorbacks.
Arkansas. It's been done.
You know, it's interesting. There are a lot of hogs down there.
There are, yeah.
Wild hogs.
Oh, okay. I mean, I already have the answer, but keep going.
Okay. Tecoy Creek Tigers. Overused.
Overused, but I like it. The school colors, the alliteration. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're on the right track. Yeah.
Tecoy Creek Toros.
No, because I think of Bring It On, the cheerleading movie. They're the Toros. They're the Toros. No.
Tecoy Creek Vikings.
No.
I mean, we have the Armada.
I get it, but is there like a history with Tecoy Creek and Vikings?
No.
That's like a northern thing. Are we in central Wisconsin or are we in Jacksonville?
I mean, we
right
may
now?
have a lack of knowledge of some of these things that might exist.
Hey, I didn't see any Vikings wearing flip-flops in any kind of documentaries, okay? They were living in the cold. Don't think they're in Florida.
Tecoy Creek Vipers.
I like it.
By the way, these are the options, okay? So that's it.
Oh, this is what we can vote on?
That's what it's down to.
Is there a QQ right in or not?
I think you can. Go to
Seriously?
actionnewsjacks.com or wherever else we have
we
it.
shared it on ours, too.
On ESPN690.com?
I was thinking it should be Tecoy Creek Crawdads. The CC. Creek Crawdads. And then it fits because, like, they're in the creek anyway, probably.
What are the colors again?
I'm not hating it.
I'm hating it.
There you go. There's the colors.
Absolutely hate it. Yep. Oh, I got this. You ready for? All right, guys.
By the way, the winner here should be moccasins.
No.
Yeah, you get a good snake. It's you're thinking the shoe, man.
Yeah, but see, now I'm thinking
what are
I'm thinking
moccasins?
the what is
Tecoy
it?
Creek moccasins. It makes sense.
What is it? Dodgeball?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna be doing this.
Whatever,
You're
man.
doing this school the service. All right.
Hey,
everybody
if I
close
said
your
10
eyes.
years ago that all the receivers in the NFL would be dancing the way they're dancing, you would have made fun of that.
Doing the giddy or the gritty. Yeah, man. Adam Thielen. All right, you guys, close your eyes now. Let's envision this. Everybody focus. Brent, need your eyes closed. This is my honorable mention. This isn't the one, but this is a one. But it's not the one. You guys ready? The Tecoy Creek Tiger Sharks. Now, that was an honorable mention. Not bad. It's all right. Now, check this out. And I'm thinking from a helmet. I'm thinking from a branding perspective. It's fresh. It's new. It's exciting. I only know one other university that has this animal as their mascot. Close your eyes, guys. Close your eyes. Come with me now. The Tecoy Creek Tarantulas. And you're welcome. Kuz, your opinion doesn't matter because you want to go Toros. The Tecoy Creek Tarantulas. Spider on the helmet. Got the colors for it. I mean, are those school colors not a tarantula?
That is good.
Thanks.
There's one other school in the country with that?
Well, I'm thinking Richmond. I mean, name one other school.
Spiders.
Yeah, the Richmond Spiders.
Oh, but you're talking tarantulas. I don't think anybody's named the tarantulas.
Enough said.
There you go.
Hey, how many tarantulas are there in Florida? There are a lot of them?
I know of like the wolf spider is here, isn't that a thing?
Oh, I'm looking it up.
See, the thing with the shark, the tiger shark one, I liked it, but then the Pontevedra shark, that's too.
Yeah, probably too.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Tiger in general is just so overused, it feels like.
Yeah.
And Tiger King 2020, you probably want to avoid that.
Good point. Good point.
I mean, I'm on TripAdvisor. They're talking about tarantulas in Florida, so what more do you want?
They do have them? Black widow spiders, they have those, I think.
They have black widows, yeah.
I don't hate the moccasins. I mean, the moccasins, you could have that could be a cool snake on the side.
I agree with Kuz. I think of dodgeball.
Yeah, I think of dodgeball.
I mean,
I really do.
I mean, listen.
You're not going to get over that now, too.
I've never really, I guess, isn't FAMU, they're the snakes, right?
The rattlers.
Okay, but they have like the snake.
They have
with
the snake, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going tarantulas. Just me, though.
I mean, both of them are kind of creepy.
Kuz, which one you go with, moccasins or tarantulas?
I was going to say crawdads.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was Kuz.
I know, but
I'm going to be honest, though. With the crawdad, I see where you're going, but it's not a minor league baseball team.
Yeah, that does have a little bit of that.
We're trying to strike fear. I eat crawdads all the time. They're annoying because it takes so long to get through the shell. They're annoying. They're pesky. But I wouldn't name a school after them.
But, like, is that maybe that's a thing? Like, how much money could they make off merch if they become the crawdads?
But once again, it ain't a minor league team. Like, listen, if I'm a high school football player and I have to run through, like, a banner for homecoming of a giant, like, crustacean, I'm not super pumped up about it.
Orange crustacean, too, because you got to stick with the
I'm not the most pumped up to do that. I'll be honest with you.
Nobody was pumped up about the jumbo shrimp either. Now they are.
Yeah, but they're a minor league team. Like, it's different, man. Imagine being that age. Imagine being 16. You're doing TikTok videos with your crustacean. Like, no one's doing that. Kids aren't for that. But now tarantulas, man. Mysterious. Scary.
Think about how hard that mascot would be to handle with all the legs.
The tarantulas? Just put some PVC, whatever. You're fine. Don't kill my dream.
Someone in the PTA will figure it out.
Yep. All right, well, I'm going to go onto our website. I'm going to suggest that right now.
Jax Boz with a great one here. He says, Tacoy Creek football team. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I like it.
Don't worry about the shirts.
The moccasins. Well,
Just TC.
So I assume if you're by a creek, there probably is a lot of water moccasins there, right?
Trinity Christian.
So you got to think if they're by a creek, which I assume they are.
Yeah.
Unless it's false advertising. There's a lot of water moccasins.
Oh, yeah. No,
so
it would fit.
It fits. I like the fact that it fits.
And you could call them mocks.
I like them. Yeah. Who else is the mocks?
The Sins.
Is Chattanooga them?
No, somebody like
UT Chattanooga?
It could be. It's something like that, though. It's not like James
out,
Madison. It's but it's one of those kind of schools, yeah.
If I pulled this one out,
that'd be good.
Me tell you.
UT Chattanooga mocks. That's. I mean, you can't get a soundbite right coming back from break, but you just pulled the Chattanooga Mocs out of there. That's impressive.
Chattanooga Mocs, baby.
I would like to find out if anybody in the history of high schools has ever been called the Tarantulas. I don't know. I mean, have they?
Probably not. But imagine that helmet. That's a cool helmet. You know, like I love Richmond's helmet. The Richmond whatever Spiders. Imagine the helmet.
What was your high school mascot again?
T-Birds. The Thunderbirds.
Okay. Took me a second.
Tacoy Creek.
Scared yet?
Tacoy Creek
You
Townies.
You should be. Should be, man.
Tacoy Creek Townies.
Dude, that wouldn't be that bad. But what would their Townie look like? Just like a Jack's Beach bum with like a bottle? Well, what? I'm just kidding. Well, I'm kidding. Come on.
The Minshew mustache.
Yeah, jean shorts, and just kind of like slumped over, sleeping.
Actually, the mullets are in right now. So
mullets are in right now. Ask
I wouldn't permanently do the mullet
thing.
The
Chanticleers of Charleston. Say what?
I wouldn't permanently do the mullet thing. That might be a phase.
Yeah, but you were pretty much close to one for a while there, bro.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Speaking of, got the haircut today and a lot J talk on a day that there's a lot J talk.
Yeah.
And the buzz quote was Mark Lamp. Actually, it was Paul Harden on behalf of the Jaguars, in terms of talking about this deal a lot, Jay, and the city and everything else. Somewhere along the line, it came up that the Jaguars have been a free agent, quote, since Shad Khan bought the team. Because, obviously there's a lot of talk right now of, hey, can you sign a lease if we're going to do this? And what are you going to give us? And the two big things coming out of this, because I saw some of it, but not all of it, and John Bachman just kind of confirmed with me too, is Mark Lamping also said no to giving money back if they leave in 10 years. So, there's no penalty for leaving. And the Jags' point of view or Shad Khan's point of view, or however you want to view this, is, well, I'm taking a risk too by putting $200 and something million in here.
Yeah.
But I understand, by the way, I fully understand, the city of Jacksonville does not want to get left at the altar here.
No, for sure.
With a $300 million bill, and if this doesn't work and everything else, okay? I believe this project should go through and happen in some way, shape, or form. I want to see it happen. But I understand that part of it, for sure. Listen, this team has been rumored ever since it almost was founded here in Jacksonville as leaving Jacksonville. I've never been a huge believer that it is or is going to or whatever, but I understand people's opinions on that. It's not like out of we have seen teams move, from St. Louis and now Oakland. So it's not like it's unprecedented. And it's not as hard as it once was. I mean, there's a huge dollar amount, but still, Stan Kroenke left St. Louis and said, I don't care what the dollar amount is. I'm going to go build myself a $5 billion stadium in L.A. anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. And let's be honest now, Shad Khan is that kind of money. So while I think Shad is committed to Jacksonville, I've been a believer in that. I've said that here. That's my thought on it. I understand why the city would then say, hey, well, what if? I think that's fair. So that's an interesting part of today that I think the Jags doesn't want a what if. They're looking for a commitment from the city, too, if Shad Khan's going to invest this kind of money. But the bigger part there, the catchphrase was the free agent. And obviously people didn't like that. I know social media didn't like that the Jags have been a free agent. Do you view them that way? I mean, do you think the Jags have been ripe for the pickings for a long time for other people interested in having an NFL team, other cities interested in having an NFL team? And what you got to understand here, have there been a lot of discussions that maybe haven't even been reported? Yeah. it's been the obvious link of anytime LA was mentioned, Jags. Anytime London was mentioned, Jags. No, but those were just people speculating. Those were national sports people saying, well, they're going to move. They're going to move. They're going to move. I mean, that was more narrative than it was actual found facts. But behind the scenes, you do have to wonder, what kind of overtures were there? Have there been discussions inside NFL offices? This isn't the richest city in the country. More money could be made by that fraternity and by the Shield in another place.
So are the Jaguars a free agent? And that's a rough one because it's hard not to tie my emotion to this question, right? Because, man, I played here. I live here. I cover this team now. If they're going to leave, like, it would really screw up a lot of things for me. So I want to see them stay. But to answer your question truthfully and honestly, I think there is a little bit of a free agent talk going on. And I'll be honest with you, Brent, I think it's justified. Because anytime management or ownership brings up, the whole viability phrase in terms of the fan base and people going to the games and the revenue and all that stuff, anytime that gets brought up, that's a big red flag, okay? And that should make you nervous. Because when they address the fans like that or when they bring up the fans like that, that goes to show you right now that it's on the radar, right? And they're thinking about it. And yes, the 2 London games, that was one thing and all that, and we'll see what transpires from there. But I'm just seeing anytime you bring up a fan base, it's not a good look.
Yeah, listen, I think it's interesting where this has escalated to. This thing has gone in a place that I didn't think it was going. And getting a ton of attention. We've talked about it now several times on the show, but that's because there are headlines in this. I think that's the storyline more for me today, is that the escalation part of it from the mayor last week, to which we talked about a couple of times, bringing it up and basically saying, hey, you want to be an NFL city or not? And now to the Jags, and part of I don't want to say that this wasn't, at least my understanding of it, this wasn't them getting up and being like, we've been asked to go for years and we've stayed. And, but when those quotes come out, that is now, okay, this is a full-on kind of part of these negotiations. It's not maybe the stadium, which I think it was going to be. Like, Lot J to me wasn't make or break for the Jags leaving town or not. And I really still don't believe it is. I think the stadium will be that because that is what we've seen. That's precedent set. I mean, St. Louis, Oakland, other places. When you can't, and again, I'll go all the way back to New England. Because they weren't building the stadium, they almost went to Connecticut instead of stayed in Foxborough. So those things have traditionally been the key point of contention that gets teams to potentially move or threaten to move.
Can you answer me this question? Because you hear this all the time. The stadium, the stadium, the stadium. The owners talk about the stadium. You got to update it or whatever the case may be. What do you have to do with that stadium? Like, what needs to be done to make the ownership happy?
I think the stadium, the underbelly of the stadium. I think the Jags have given that thing a pretty good facelift. Now, others would disagree with me, but I think the stadium on a game day looks pretty good, and especially a lot better than it has looked in the past. I think they've already done a lot. And by the way, Shad Khan, Mark Lamping, I think deserve some credit for that. I think if you go to these other palaces, though, right, these stadium, I mean, the underbelly alone. And listen, the Jags locker room is fine. But if you walk down whoa, you all right there? Fumbled.
Yeah, man. Mike just collapsed. Yeah, we're good. Keep talking. I'll just hold it. Not sure what went down.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll figure
cool.
it out.
That's all good. I'll just hold it here.
I think a lot, like, if you go to the newer stadiums, this is the way I describe it to people.
Yeah.
Underneath, you can drive buses and Mack trucks.
True.
Underneath those things. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Indianapolis, wherever.
Soldier Field, and Soldier Field is nothing like to write a home out.
Is
but
Soldier
they still
Field
have
one of them?
Yeah.
You can still go underneath?
For sure.
Like Atlanta now is like that.
Okay.
Like, I look at the concourses, like in the stadium where people are going to concessions, and you can drive Mack. You could have parties in there and concerts in the concourse rather than, so I think that's some of the stadium stuff. Like, it definitely, listen, it hasn't been done since 95, right? In terms of $400 billion investment.
Sure.
And that's why they get lumped in with Buffalo. A little bit more on this, but there's some angst in the city now. That's the point.
Yeah.
There's angst in the city. I think the mayor kind of fueled it a little bit last week. I think these discussions have fueled it. It's got people bowed up, whether it's on social media or in the city or city council. The vote's now going to be, I think, on January 7th. I still think this moves forward, but it's not holding hands moving forward. That's for sure. There's some contention here, and we'll see where it lands at the end of the day. Another thought or two on that before we move on. Lot J continues to be a big discussion. I think it's a huge issue and a huge topic, even when it comes to sports here in Jacksonville. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. You going to freelance a little bit?
Yeah, man. What's going on? Austin Lane, Action Sports Jacks.
Hey, this is good. You got to work on your mic skills for
I guess
wrestling.
so. That's a good point. Good point.
You got to roll with the punches, baby.
I know, man. I'm with you. Call an audible. We'll
be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martin.
Alex Smith and that whole thing, or what was he talking about there?
He was basically just saying, you play the game.
You play the
That's
game.
why you play the game.
Any given Sunday, any given Monday evening. Who you got tonight?
I can't imagine Dallas wins because I think Baltimore's just as desperate. And they get healthy, like Calais and a lot of other guys coming back, including Lamar.
Yeah.
I actually think, I feel it would be hard to say their best game because they trounced Baltimore earlier in the year. I'm sorry, Cleveland earlier in the year. But let's just say in the last, 6 to 8 weeks, I think today will be their best game. I don't think the Cowboys have much of a chance. I know we've just seen a lot of upsets and near upsets this week.
True.
But I actually think the Ravens are going to play very well tonight. Probably inspired, back at it. It's been a crazy few weeks for them. I don't know. It's really hard to judge what a team's going to do, right? And listen, Lamar Jackson just hadn't been that good.
Yeah.
And Dallas's defense has gotten a little bit better. They were awful early on, but they've got, all these awful defenses have been better. From Atlanta to the Jags to Seattle and Dallas. If you look at some of the numbers, now it's hard to be worse.
That's a good point.
For all of them, it was hard to be worse. But they have gotten a little bit better. Just to finish up a thought or two on Lot J and everything else. As you see all this stuff, because, again, we're not down there. We're not, locked into these meetings, so we're kind of seeing it from the periphery. I just, in full disclosure, a lot of this stuff's going on, right before the show starts, and, everything's happening. But I'm seeing the headlines, and I just said before the break, there's a lot of angst right now with this thing. And I don't like that feeling because I guess nothing should be done of this nature just swimmingly. It should probably have. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. We're talking about taxpayers' money.
Well, and that's the most important part, Brent. We got to remember, while we may be better off than some other people, some other people don't want to pay an extra whatever per month or whatever it's going to be or per year.
Yeah,
they just can't. They can't swing it.
At the end of the day, get by all this stuff, which is, I think it's more than rhetoric. I think it's a little bit politics.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit negotiation. And so realize that. I don't think this is time to sound the alarm. I think the narrative a bit today, and maybe the Jags brought this into play with the statement of free agency, and we're still in Jacksonville. But if you really look at Mark Lamping, he has actually said something like that before in past meetings, state of the franchise meetings. Listen, look what we've done. He always has to defend that, look what we've done. Yeah. Look what we've done. We are still here. So he may not have said it in maybe the way it came out today in these intense negotiations and everybody's emotions are up, but he's kind of said similar things to, listen, we've got whatever the challenge is, and we're still here, and we're committed, and he always has to say that. And so from his standpoint, and maybe even Shad's standpoint, I would think that would get a little bit tiring, but especially at the moment, that Shad's trying to say, hey, I'm also trying to put a couple $100 million into the city. Has anybody offered that recently? Yeah. So I actually discussed this, and this isn't a defense. Again, I don't mind where you sit on this. This is fine. You know where I stand. I don't know the right way to get it all done. I want it done. I want development to happen. I think it's better for the city. But nobody is real. I discussed this with some of our news folks. Said, has anybody really dove into Shad's point of view on this? Why is he asking for however much, Why? Because the narrative is, he's just trying to steal money from the taxpayer, steal money from Jacksonville, take on all the risk for the city. I don't know. Is that really the truth there? Who knows? I don't feel like we get that side of the story very often. In actuality, in some of the reporting and some of the headlines and some of the tweets that we see, at least, again, and admittedly, I'm on the periphery of that most of the time. So, hey, I don't know. I could use a little bit more explainer. Now, at the same time, I also could listen to Shad talk about it. We don't hear from Shad, ever. So we don't know. We just have Mark Lamping talking about this, which we've heard Mark Lamping, quite frankly, talk a lot about this in the past.
And that was going to be my next point. Is, okay, cool. Yeah, you have the mayor going off and saying his piece. Then you got Mark Lamping saying his piece. But this all revolves around one guy. It's the head honcho, Shad Khan. It would be nice to, because once again, and whether they're talking about football, marriage, or a city, building new things, communication.
Yeah.
Especially now, right? This is going to be a big vote. And once again, I would be the worst politician of all time because I want to see downtown grow, Brent. I'm with you. I think it's the lifeblood of a city. It's the heartbeat of a city. I've said it many times before. But with that being said, I can see the other side too. All right, especially in a time like 2020 where people maybe have to conserve a little more in terms of spending money. I can see the other side. So like I said, I'd be the worst politician. Like, hey, vote for me, but I get it if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
on the fence.
Over here.
I'm on the fence. Yeah, I agree with you, and I agree with you.
Go ahead and check yes, but if you don't, I get it. It's all good. No worries. I still like you. So that's where we're at, and that's why Shad Khan, I think, has to say something.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, they're smart. They know they're going to face some pushback. They know that. They understand. They're smart enough to know. They know people are going to be like, hey, thanks for winning some games lately.
Yeah.
They're going to say, you want what? The $65 million loan? You're a billionaire. Like, they know they're going to get some of this. I mean, these are negotiations.
Not good, though. I get it, Brett, but you don't want pushback.
I don't know. What I don't know if is good right now is now we're going to creep in the narrative thanks to the mayor and now to the statement today of if they don't do this, Jags could be leaving. Like, that's the narrative. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think this could fall through and the Jags don't leave. I still believe the stadium will be the biggest of issues. But that will be the narrative out of this because of some of the things that have transpired the last 2 weeks, and it's getting very contentious. And now I'm starting to wonder, okay, are they even going to get the vote or not? So at the end of the day, I believe Shad's group, Lamping, Harden, all these other folks, they knew some of this was coming back. You know, and sometimes even you might do some of this stuff intentionally in a negotiation, right?
Yeah.
To
get the conversation,
get the conversation going, to drop some seeds here or there, to kind of see what kind of pushback you're going to get, knowing that at the end of the day, I'll give into that a little bit. I'll give into it. So I'm interested to see where it lands from that. Like, I don't think Shad Khan, Mark Lamping, everybody has said a take it or leave it deal yet. I don't think that's transpired. But at the end of the day, here's the question. Does Lot J get built? Like, does this thing pass, and do we start construction in Lot J, or do you think this becomes just a mega story, really, in 2021, and could potentially be one of the first dominoes that if you look down the road, creates a subject that we don't even really want to talk about?
Do I think it gets passed? It's a great question. It's the $1 million question. I just feel like with the lack of communication and really just like the lack of progress that we've seen, I have a hard time believing it's actually going to pass. Now, I want it to pass. Don't get it twisted. But I just think not everything's in order right now to get that done. The other question I had for you real quick. So Shad Khan, obviously he hasn't been adamant about speaking to everybody about what's going on, right? You had Lenny Curry come out, and at least the way I took it, just my opinion, you kind of held the city hostage and said either you vote or you're going to lose your team. That's how I took it. Now, maybe I'm wrong, just my perspective. You've had Lamping come out now and say his piece. The fact that Shad Khan hasn't come out yet, does that make you nervous? When there's narratives around here like if it's not a vote for yes, they could be gone once again coming from Lenny Curry, does it make you nervous when that kind of dialogue is spoken out in the airwaves, or at least it's interpreted like that in the airwaves? Does it make you nervous when the owner of the franchise does not come out and say, hey, I don't know what that was, but here's what's going on?
Yeah, no, because he's still got a side to win on. It's a win. It's a win and a loss. I mean, he's a businessman, all right? There's a win and a loss here. It's like negotiating a house, but on a very mega scale. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think I'm not surprised by that at all. Listen, I believe it's happening. I believe they got the votes. I believe they know what's up. I believe there's a little pushback because this is what happens. I believe it's probably smart on the part of the city to try to delay it a little bit, do more work on it, and ask these kind of questions. That is smart. But that's actually their due diligence. That's what they should be doing of a project of this magnitude. I also believe that they know what's up. They've got the horses aligned, and they, at the end of the day, will get what they want. Now, been here before, and when that Lot J stuff and everything else kind of crumbled around and the opportunity to put maybe potentially Lot J employees in Lot J, if they built that up, well, they picked a different spot and all that. Well, that went in a totally different direction, in my opinion, than I thought and probably even they thought. So they've been surprised before, I think, in the last few years. I would think at the end of the day, this thing still gets passed and done, and it's a long way from being done in terms of built.
Yeah.
But I think at the initial stage here in January, it'll get passed. I will say this, though. I'm a little taken aback by some of the rhetoric of the last 7 to 10 days. I didn't know it would get to this, and this is what we're discussing. Mm-hmm. And in the weeds on the free agent, we're still in Jacksonville, the NFL city talk. In full disclosure, I thought that would be more stadium-oriented 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So we'll pay attention to it. We'll keep you updated on it. I think it's a fascinating discussion. It's an important discussion, in my opinion. I think over the next 10 years, it's not just for today and tomorrow. I think it's over the next 10 years for downtown. There's a lot of great places in Jacksonville regardless. But for downtown, I think this next 10 years is kind of a boom or bust potential, at least in the next 3 or 4 decades for the city of Jacksonville. So we'll see what does transpire. A little bit more on tonight's game coming up when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Maybe we'll give you some advice on who to take in prize picks. We got a W yesterday with Jordan Reed, late touchdown. Hey, for the garbage TD.
Doesn't matter when it happens. It's just got to happen one time. Num, chewing up those points, Brent.
All right, we'll be back on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. Thanks to a lot of rescheduling, we were treated to 2 Monday night.
Well, he's the one fighting him.
Does it matter?
Kuz loves this stuff, by the way.
I don't. It's just
he loves this.
It wouldn't make sense for it to be Jake Paul because he's not fighting Mayweather.
I know. So it's Logan Paul.
They both fight. Yeah.
But you say that like I'm supposed to know who the hell these two guys are.
I don't
like
know
I
who
care
they
about
are. I
them.
couldn't
Kuz, you know who they are. Come on.
You know who they are.
They're on YouTube. So, yeah. So it's Jake Paul?
Logan.
See? It goes to show you where my mind's at already. So Logan Paul will be fighting Floyd Mayweather in a exhibition boxing match. And I think I saw the phrase special exhibition boxing match. So whatever that means. Cool.
Like, does Floyd Mayweather pack a punch like enough to kill Logan Paul?
Logan Paul? He is a small. I mean, listen, Logan Paul's got him in size, but if Floyd Mayweather wanted to, and keep in mind, if he wanted to, he would knock him unconscious in the first round.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not going to happen.
So he's going to take it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what this is all about, man. It's not about, listen. Oh, man, I got so many thoughts about this, and I'm going to try to keep it within reason. At the end of the day, that Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight, that was entertaining because it was two guys who were still showcasing their skills, two legends, obviously, of the sport. I wanted to see this. I don't need to see a 2-0 or a 1-1, whatever his record is, YouTube guy, and he's a professional boxer as well, but a YouTube guy take on arguably the best boxer of all time in Floyd Mayweather. I don't need to see this. And I don't need to see it as a quote-unquote special exhibition match. I don't need to see it. Listen, you can't, that's professional wrestling. When you put on these kind of fights, that's pro wrestling. You're going to take it easy, you're going to pull your punches? Go in a wrestling ring. Call up Tony Khan. Say AAW. Sign me up. Don't waste my time and put this on pay-per-view and expect me to buy it. Because guess what? I'm not.
So you think he's going to take it easy on him?
Yep. Listen.
But how many people do you think are going to watch because they think he won't, and they're going to see a monster?
Yeah,
knockout?
Listen, it's like going to watch Daytona, and you're like, there are going to be some big wrecks, and then by the end of it, you're like, wow, they just kind of went in tandem style all around the track.
And especially piggybacking off of his brother's knockout of Nate Robinson, I think people are going to think that's what's going to happen.
Well, and listen, and they're both they both train. This guy's fought before as well, so they both train. People are gonna tune in because it's Floyd Mayweather, and he's still a big name, regardless what you think about his style. Mayweather is still a big name in the boxing community, and people are gonna tune in from the YouTube generation to watch Logan Paul take him on. So, I get it. The storyline's there, the intrigue's there, but at the end of the day, this is, to me, it's gonna be a setup. But whatever.
Yeah, I would
I mean, you think Floyd Mayweather's going to come out the first round and knock the kid out? Hey, thanks for signing up. Here's an overhand right. Go to sleep.
No,
not
because
how it works.
You know what? Even if he knocks him out, it's almost like I feel like this is straight out of Rocky. Which, by the way, I was actually worked out a little bit today in sweatpants and a sweatshirt,
like your style,
and I felt like Rocky.
Yeah. I like that, man.
I felt like him.
Now, were you outside? Because I've been Rocky IV training in the wintertime in the mountains.
Outside.
Oh, yeah, man. Good stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, it's chilly today.
It wasn't Russia, but it was chilly.
By the way, make sure, did you check to see where the sun's coming through? We're supposed to frost over tonight.
Oh, yeah, I have not done that.
We're going to frost over tonight.
It didn't come out through on the back patio, I can tell you that.
Kuz bringing the frost warnings to the show. I like it. But what do you think? I mean, would you watch that fight?
Well, my point, no, I didn't watch the other ones either, though.
Okay.
So I'm a bad guy to ask. My point being, I think you're going to be disappointed unless, Mayweather delivers an uppercut that sends him over the ropes.
Correct.
It's almost like in Mike Tyson punch-out fashion or Rocky fashion.
Yeah.
It's going to be I mean, you're going to be disappointed in this fight. It's at the end of the day. Because here's the deal. If it goes 4 rounds, you're going to be like, well, he didn't even try.
Exactly.
And so even if he knocks him out early, you're like, well, that was quick and stupid.
Yep.
And there's no way he can knock him out with any kind of dramatic effect that would be like, oh my God. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
It's a lose situation.
I mean, I don't know what the odds are going to be of this fight, but listen, Floyd Mayweather right now is 49-0? There is no way. And I get everyone's got a puncher's chance. There is no way that Floyd goes down here. And even if it is set up a little bit, there's no way the ego of Floyd Mayweather is going to be, hey, let me get beat by a YouTube star. That's not how it works, man. He's got too much pride.
I can't believe we just spent 4 minutes talking about that.
That's Kuz for you. That's what happens when you go back to the bullpen.
Back tomorrow, Kuz.
Back tomorrow, Coos?
Yeah, you guys want to talk about how you can do the show from Hawaii?
You know what we got to talk about
I like
tomorrow?
that topic, actually.
I like that, and also your headphones coming out.
That's right. Forgot about that.
$549.
What do they do?
They cancel noise.
Oh, they're
They make you
canceling
not
ones?
able to hear poor people.
Yeah. Oh my. Coos said it, not me. Get out of here. You.
Those are good family toys, then. That's
good family toys.
Put them in your ears. Don't listen to anybody.
Listen, it's as much as a PS5. Just get a PS5 and tape it on your head. That's what you're doing.
Hey, don't forget to go vote for our Athlete of the Week on ESPN690.com. Live Local Loud coming up next on ESPN 690. I'll see you on TV tonight.
Let's go.
Go Tarantulas. No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche.